Well, that was the final episode of Doctor Who. Coming up next week, a replacement... Sorry? You mean we still have to... All right. It's bad enough that it exists without having to talk about it. Well, get ready, everyone. This is going to be big. It's time to review The Reality War. What an apt name that is. And after 21 episodes and 3 years, RTD throws in everything, including the kitchen sink, and finally shows the Doctor Who fandom what he really thinks of you all. And it's not much. So brace yourself and let rip. It's live, and it's Who's Views.
RTD's final Disney 2 episode of Alleged Doctor Who sees 2.17 million watch overnight. What the hell were they thinking? Here we are then. Welcome to Who's Views, the review of The Reality War. As you can see, I'm here with Miles, with the lady of the chat herself, Kirsty, with the third Doctor Ian, Emilio, the Time Lord Victorious, and Paul has submerged himself.
So I'm reading some real Doctor Who, some interesting from a proper writer, Malcolm Hulk. He could write, I'm telling you that.
Legend.
Yeah. Unlike some people.
Some people. Welcome, everybody. It's Sunday, the 1st of June. We've just gone 2 o'clock here in the UK. We are here to talk about the last episode of the second series of Alleged Doctor Who. Right at the top of the show, 2 thank yous. I want to say thank you to PTA, who gave us a super chat live at 6, the show we've just finished doing. Thank you for that, mate. I didn't see that in time, but thank you so much for your super chat on the last show. He wanted to know, did Billy say anything on social media? We're going to be coming to that in this show. And I also want to say, right at the top of the show, a huge congratulations to Star Whovian. Star Whovian, who is a regular in our chat here with us. Well done. Congratulations. Everything you gave to the tabloids was right. Your source was spot on. And you know, guys, as we were going through this crappy thing last night, this bloody stupid thing that I was watching last night, all I could think of was the email that Star Whovian had sent us with all the list of what was going on. And I was more or less ticking it off in my head thinking, this is happening. This is happening. This is happening. So congratulations to Star Whovian. Big up to you. Wow. Yes, so here we are. Before we get into the review, of course, let's get on to that rating. 2.17 million everybody tuned in last night. I personally think that some of the Doctor Who fans that had left the show came back to see who the new person was going to be. That's what I think. But I don't know, just bumped it up a bit. But let's have a look. The ratings game last week, this is what the team was saying. Paul went lower with 2.2. Ian went lower with 1.37. Kirsty went with 1.7. Amelia went with 1.6. And I went with 1.5. So
yes, I'm the nearest. Hey, finally.
But not quite near enough.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, not quite near enough, actually, Paul. So unfortunately, you still don't win the prize. But let's have a look to see what you could have won, and this one is the best of the series. You could have won this fabulous Shooty Gower Barbie doll. Yes, this Barbie
That's
doll.
a shame. I could have stuck pins in it. That's a real
This
shame.
Barbie doll comes with authentic outfit. He also comes with tears because we've given him a water pistol, and as you can see, he comes with no job and a P45. But no, you haven't won that. So off it goes.
If you'd stuck pins in it, he would have legitimately felt a prick, which is probably what he was for the last 2 years. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Just sort of throw that in right at the start.
You do that. You do that. It's great to see you all in the chat with us. Thank you very much. Stephen is saying to us, "Hi everyone. Thank God for some Who's Views group therapy tonight." And a lovely picture of the fourth Doctor himself. St. Rosie Mead, an interesting show coming up, we think. So I wonder what makes her think that, guys. I don't know. Cloud SSJ4 is with us. Good evening, everyone. Is this where the therapy group meets up for the weekly session, isn't it? Yes, it is. It is. So come on in. Lots to get through. Marcus Barry, good evening to you. It's nice to see you. Welcome.
Evening.
Matthew's with us as well. Hello, hello. Alfie Jack back with us as well. Cody is with us. Good to see you. Craig Dunlop was with us. Oh, I am the bad wolf. You are very suspicious right now, I have to tell you. Hugh Jane is with us as well. Oh, man. Keep it coming, everybody. Superlev is asking what we're all thinking. Billy Piper, what the... Yes,
what the F. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Happy Man 050, it says how bad this episode was, then in that I was glad when the 13th Doctor show. Oh,
we'll get to that. I think I partially agree with that, I have to say. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was actually saying that live at 6 to Kirsty. I can now say I've seen a Jodie Whittaker episode, everybody.
True.
You can, yeah. And we'll get your opinion on her performance later. That'll be interesting.
You remind me to tell you.
Yeah, please. I'm sure you will. Yeah.
Remind me to tell you, and I will tell you. It's good to see you all in the chat. Where to start on this utter crap? Glenn Piper saying to us, "Good evening, everyone. We didn't understand it. Did anyone else? No.
No.
There was literally no plot whatsoever.
No.
Absolutely. And Hugh James, thank you for your super chat. Tonight's drinking game, everybody. Every time Ian described it as bollocks, you take a shot. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. You'll be drunk for the first half an hour of this program.
Oh my God. Noodle Arms is saying to us, Billy Piper is not the Doctor and never will be. Well, okay. I don't know. Where do you want to start with this absolute hell that we were put through last night? I mean, I was bored 15, 20 minutes into this because I kept thinking of the thing Star Hooven had said, couldn't get it out of my head. Yeah. And because we know RTD cannot write, because we know RTD is terrible at writing some sort of finale, I just thought to myself, it was done the moment it started. I just didn't feel any excitement for it at all.
Well, this is worse than normal. There was no logic to it. Characters appeared, disappeared, had no real motivation whatsoever. And even putting that bloody that two Ronnies gag as well. It's awful. Incredible.
I forgot about that. Oh, Golden Age Geek is saying to us here on the show, I owe Star Hoovian an apology. I think a lot of us will do. I had assumed he got Jodie's return in Bog Fanish confused with her returning in the actual show. I'm sure he's going to be fine about it because his source was spot on. And absolutely, I mean, I was one of the people, wasn't I, guys, that Star Hoovian sent all the details to us. And I looked at it and I said to Star Hoovian, I don't know if I believe this. It's all far-fetched.
That's the scary part. It is all far-fetched, but it's no reality. Yeah, really bad, awful.
It's great to see you. Look at all this. Now, Sea King is saying Billy and David will be reunited. Oh dear.
Don't tell me David will turn up and play her companion, no doubt. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
God. And Darren Apken. So it's Dr. Billy now. What utter nonsense. It makes about as much sense as the fifth Doctor regenerating into Susan. The series is creatively bankrupt and now eating itself. The Ouroboros syndrome. Ooh, that's a big word. Ooh, that's a big word, isn't it? Couldn't even say it. And Sam, 2.17 million without an early iPlayer release. That's not good. What was good about this episode, guys? Somebody tell me.
Nothing. My wife even decided to join me in watching it because I was telling her how bad it's probably going to be, and she hasn't watched Doctor Who since when David Tennant was around. She would pop in for the odd episode, and she was sitting there after 15-20 minutes. She wanted me to turn it off. Number one. Number two, she said, it doesn't look like it's Doctor Who. And I was like, yeah. And so basically it was really interesting watching it with her. She'd not watched anything so for a long time. So for her to basically say, I want to turn it off after 20 minutes and it's not Doctor Who, I think that sums it up. So I was like, yeah, I don't know why I objected her to 60 whatever minutes of that torture. It was painful. A painful watch, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. I was saying to Paul last night, before he watches it, he needs something strong. I wish I had a good shot of vodka before I started watching that.
Bottle.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Bottle, yeah, 5 miles, yeah.
Right, you do need bottles. A lot of you, Keep your chats coming up. Thank you, Bill. Saint 194. Oh my God, I've never seen such atrocious, awful, downright disrespectful tripe as this era of Doctor Who with RTD. Spat in the face of all fans. Philip King, nice to see you. What the hell was that episode? Why regenerate into the rose? Doctor Who really has jumped the shark. That's the saying that's been going on a lot today, guys.
As I said last show, it's jumped the shark, it's eaten the shark, and it's crapped the shark out again. That's what they've done. Yeah.
Let's have a look there. Good evening, panel, says Real Steve. The peak of ratings was apparently mid-show at 2.31. By the generation, it was 1.5. Audience checked out. Well, we've got our expert, of course, will be back with us in the week. Bedouin. He's on that right now. Oh, he's on that, and yeah, he'll be in a padded cell by Friday. Hi, Tyler Durden. What's this from David B? Anita Dobson had the right idea by announcing it's good night from me and vanishing. Absolute rubbish. What was the point of Omega? What was the point of Susan? What was the point of any of it? All good questions. I'm going to be asking the panel to answer all that for you in a second. We've got some super chats here, guys, as well, so let's get into those. Digby Strawbridge, thank you so much for that super chat there. At least it's over. Can we watch the door hit RTD's backside on the way out after relieving himself on the ruins of our show?
You wanted him to be chucked out by two BBC bouncers and they throw all his stuff out after him. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would be, to be honest. Thank you very much for that super chat. Golden Age Geek saying to a shooty cat was Doctor is now the most illegitimate Doctor of all time. The only one to never face either the Daleks, the Cybermen, or the Master. Well,
but he was the best of the male Doctors, though, wasn't he? Let's be honest. And that's true for the dialogue and everything. Yeah.
Can I be a little bit pinicky?
Yes.
McGann never faced the Daleks or the Cybermen.
No. And he is superb. Did I mention I met Paul McGann once? Did I mention that?
Did you know that Bill's a lesbian?
No, is that? I must have missed that. Really? Oh, God.
Oh, keep it all coming, everybody. I'm suffering an RTD brain rot hangover today, says Legion of James. I'm still really irritable, but I've managed to channel that into the Correcting the Cult with Facts Online. Good for you. You should have heard me last night, Legion of James, who viewers. I was effing and blinding. I was so mad. It's a good job we didn't go live last night because I was so insanely mad. Honest to God, I was just like, it was awful. And PTA, there you are. Thank you so much. Going to send RTD link for whatever that is. It can write. What's ChatGPT?
ChatGPT
AI things.
Yeah. Well, I've said that all along. It's like AI. It's like it's just thrown everything at it and let's see if it fits. I mean, there's no logic to it. But that still annoys me, really. Since when has regeneration energy been a superpower, for God's sake?
Oh, God. You've been saying for months, Paul, on our shows, that they've been taking the P for some time now of regeneration. In our day, regeneration meant the end of a life and a new one coming along. It meant the death of the Doctor and the birth of a new one. And you mourned your Doctor, and you got on with the new one. You know, whoever that was, the original 7.
Can I just say one thing? We didn't have bi-regeneration at the end of this, which is good. That means Shooty has gone. He's not going to be lingering in the background. You know.
Yeah, but did we? Did we? Because I mean, this, I was saying before, wasn't I, Kirsty? This to me strikes me of RTD in desperation, basically shoehorning in Billy as what? And I don't think she is playing the Doctor. I think this is going to be like Donna appearing in The Runaway Bride or the Titanic crashing into the TARDIS in Voyage of the Damned. You know?
Well, as RTD has said on Unleashed, he does everything now just to generate content. That's literally all the guy does.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, well, he said it in previous behind the scenes that I just that's his focus now, is just to generate content on Twitter. He just wants to annoy the fans. B, he probably put this in at the end. Probably this was a last minute thing to add Billy Piper in, because I felt like the last 20 minutes of that episode was all the reshoot stuff that they've been doing.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
but they never mentioned Billy at all in that program, which I was really surprised at. Weren't you, Emilio? She wasn't in it at all.
Which was the Unleashed? That was probably
Unleashed. Billy wasn't on it at all. Wasn't even mentioned on it.
Yeah, but it was probably filmed months ago, so therefore this would have been the reshoots for January. Don't forget, and the rewrites.
But you think they could have edited a little bit of interview her on it? I'm surprised they didn't capitalize on that as it was on the show itself. You know what I mean? It's weird.
I think they just the Billy Piper thing really there just to generate content in the hope that he can save the show dying on its arse. Basically, it's a last minute attempt to try and save him. And even the funny thing is he's basically doing the same thing that he started with, and he brought the 14th Doctor, David Tennant, back again. And yeah, like everyone's been saying that his whole era was about the companion being as important as the Doctor. Well, now he's got it. He's going to finish it off with the companion coming back to maybe even if it's for like a special, or just it's a hope that you think it's the Doctor, whatever it is. He got what he wanted. It's like full circle.
We've got Dalek Eye with us. Thank you so much for your super chat there. As it was my birthday yesterday, happy birthday for yesterday,
Happy
Dalek
birthday,
Eye. I hope you had a great day. Never mind this crap that we watched. Him leaving was a great prezi, but then what the hell happened? Good luck explaining it, guys. I don't think we're going to explain it, my friends. I think we're just going to slag it off because it was absolutely ridiculous. The guys might want to. They might want to try and do this, but I don't think there is any explaining this, because what was to explain?
I don't think you can try and rationalize and explain something that was just complete and utter bollocks. Take a drink. It was just nonsensical drivel, wasn't it? And it made no. It was the worst of the soap opera elements. Forget how many times he cried. How many times were there hugging scenes? Multiple hugging scenes going from one person to another. All this fake emotion. It meant nothing. It contributed nothing. It did nothing. But I just think with this entire era, and I mean all of it since 2005, I think the best way to look at this is that it is just alternate universe Doctor Who. It's not the Doctor Who we had up to and including McGann. It's something completely separate. There's too much in this interpretation that is different from what we knew. Time Lords are sterile. Okay, but Romana referred to herself as when she was a child. Or
Time Tots.
So that's bollocks, isn't it?
Take another race.
He did say that was the Time War that made them sterile.
Sorry?
In fairness, he said it was the Time War that made them sterile.
I think they were saying the Master, basically, in the Time of Children, basically, well, we all thought that he basically blew up Gallifrey. I thought he was trying to say that basically he made the whole time like the sterile, and that they basically, because of that, that's how they all died, kind of thing, because they could no longer reproduce. I don't know. It didn't make much sense to me, but that's what I took from it.
I didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
Can I just say to the chat, thank you for your super chat. Ian's TARDIS is smaller on the outside. And Hugh Janus, thank you for your super chat as well. Headcanon, Susan saw the script and legged it. Oh, we've got to talk about that as well. What the hell is all that? Go on, Ian, carry on. Oh, Mark Reeves as well. Thank you. I've been run over 4 times. That still hurt more.
There's too much in this interpretation that is just ridiculous and never explained. Race swapping key historical characters, Mavity and all that bollocks.
Yeah.
Another drink. And I'm not doing that on purpose. It just comes out.
It's natural. It's natural.
The way that they interpreted Sutek, the way that they did Omega, that backstory for Omega, that he was this really nasty character that the Time Lords imprisoned. No, they didn't. No, he wasn't. They invented time travel. They needed a power source. He was a solar engineer, and he got them the power source, but
and it was an
lost
accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, lost in the effort and revered as a hero. And the Doctor said that in the 3 Doctors. He was revered as a hero. He wasn't locked up as a bad guy. This cannot be the same universe Doctor Who to what we were watching up to McGann. There's just too much. And the biggest thing of all is Timeless Child and all that associated bollocks. It was just it can't be the same. And in that case, we can just say, yeah, nice try, went to shit at the end, forget it, move on. But it doesn't impact anything that we watched and enjoyed as proper Doctor Who up until 1996, I think.
Keep all that going, guys. We've got Moriarty who wants us to say hello to his dog Houdini. So can you do that, please?
Hello, Houdini.
Hello, Houdini.
Let's say hello and welcome to Who Views to Gola Carolo G. I can't say that. I don't know if any of you can. But thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Obvious answer maybe, but do you think Shooty would have worked a lot better under a different writer-producer? Probably the case for Jodie, but I was kind of generally sad for him when he regenerated. Could he have worked better? Yes, because I think he could have, because I saw Emilio shaking his head. I think he possibly could have, because RTD wouldn't have pushed this whole "you've got to play it clear" crap. I think he would have gone and let him do it the way he wanted to. But RTD insisted on this TQ cult bullshit. Oh, pardon me, probably get stripped for that. But it
He
was
was
absolute
massively
nonsense.
hindered, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I would
I
like
would
to.
like him or not.
I would have agreed with you guys on that, but having seen him fail to play a straight man.
Oh, that's true.
In the last episode, just going to show me that this guy can only play one type of person. So
I think that's fair. Yes,
I think
that's fair.
with whatever, even if you had given him, I don't know, Philip Hincliffe and the writers in those days, I still think he wouldn't be able to put it.
Well, they would never have cast him, would they? Let's be
Well,
honest.
yeah, that's a good point, Paul. Exactly, but I don't say that just to be mean in front of him, but I would. If he can't, he can only play one type of character. So yeah.
We've got Chris Lawley. We've got Chris Lawley there. Thank you for your super chat, Chris. Insult to Caroline Ford, banned Ford, the original. Thank you very much for that. We've got a non-emailer with a super chat. Hello, welcome to Whose Views. Good to see you. Really loved it. Sad people can't enjoy it. Hate is
Here we go.
Yeah. And so many catastrophes and some lovely surprises. Why can't the Doctor have an ex-companion's face?
Because it's a bloody awful idea. It's like she's associated with Rose. That's the point. She can't play the Doctor. She's too identified with Rose. It's stupid.
And I want to point out as well that we don't actually know that she is the Doctor. I personally don't believe that the next Doctor has been cast. I think this is just a great big thing to do exactly what we're all doing today, talking about it, because this thing is now off the air. It's out of production and they need to keep something alive. Now, can I just add at this particular point, please put it out there. She is not under contract as the Doctor. How do I know that? Because she's appearing at the Wales Comic Con of the weekend of the 9th and the 10th of August this year. And as you know, when they are playing the Doctor, when they're in contract, they can't do anything else. They can't go to the Comic Cons and make money and stuff like that, unless there's been massive negotiational changes that we know about. So she is going to be and she won't mention any questions. If any of you are going to that, whoseviews1@gmail.com, because there's some questions I'd like you to ask on our behalf. If you can get there, we can grab the mic.
Yes,
for
ask
now.
her, are you the Doctor or not? Just tell me, otherwise I'm not paying $50 for an autograph. Okay,
But for a non-emailer, I just want to say I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you got something out of it, but I think you were crapped on. And Andy Radar, good to see you. Thank you for your super chat. Not enough expletives to express how irredeemably awful this episode was. Ezra's with us. Thank you for that, mate. Ezra's with us saying hashtag RIP Doctor Who. That's canon. Never mind Dimensions in Time.
Oh, well, can we talk about Dimensions in Time, can we, as well?
No, we can't. Shut up. And we've got RTD as a genius from Douglas Park Loyal. Are you playing around with the JT? Are you taking the B? I think you might be. What else we got here? Lots of you in the chat with us tonight. Keep it coming, everybody. I will try my best to keep up with you. We've got Marie UK as well. Thank you for your super chat. RTD hasn't had a fresh idea in his entire body. I don't think any of us on this show are going to disagree with you, my lovely. Cool's Backyard is with us as well. Joran Jack Rabbit is with us. Hello, nice to see you. I'm screaming up here because we do have another super chat, don't we, Kirsty? The Goat is with us. Hello. Hello. Just
Thor behind at 9.99 as well.
Sorry?
Thor behind 9.99.
Thank you. The chat is very, very busy. I'm going to try and find you all. Thank you so much for joining us as we have this breakdown, this discussion about last night's Doctor Who, the reality war. Thank you for that. Can someone read that one out for me, Paul? Can you read that out for me?
Yeah. I was throwing axes. That's Benjamin Elliott. I was throwing axes while Doctor Who was on. It's relaxing. I assume there's an episode, and you all aren't hallucinating. Yeah.
I wish I was
hallucinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, feels like it.
Yeah, I think probably were. Yeah, and that was without alcohol as well. Yeah.
Oh God. I think I saw Bonnie in this last night as well. I don't know.
Oh, she was totally wasted as well. I don't mean drunk. I mean she was actually just not used properly. Yeah.
Fall behind. Thank you for your super chat. RTD should be ashamed. It felt like a massive FU to the fans who dared to question his genius. I agree with that. I think Thor behind as well. This was also a massive middle finger, not just to all of us, and he's obviously watching shows like us. Hello, Russell. How are you, you div? But I also think it was a massive finger to the fans, even though they were small, that have watched the Gatwa era and loved it, because he just ripped it all apart in this episode last night, didn't it? It just it did nothing for them at all. Anyway,
I've
it
seen
was
so
carrying
many
on.
people. I've seen so many people on Twitter who were fans of this actually come out angry and pissed off. So he's annoyed the very small activist fan base that have been following this era because if you think about all the characters are basically just wasted, and the ones that people who have liked this era have wanted to get invested in. You take Belinda, for example. She's just relegated. She's the funny thing is they made a whole point in the Robot Revolution that with what's it the boyfriend of a comes to firm basically that he wanted her basically to kind of, he's a white male who basically wanted to be like a traditional girlfriend, etc., and all of that kind of stuff. And she's an independent woman. And then what did Belinda end up at the end of this episode? Oh yeah, she ends up a stay at home mum. So and RTD even in the last episode was criticizing the traditional nuclear family and kind of tradition and being a housewife. And what does he make Belinda?
A housewife, a single mother as well.
Single mother with a baby.
I'm correct to that, yeah.
But all these story ideas were added in the last episode. Were never mentioned 7 episodes ago, were they? There was none of that in there. It was all like, oh, here we are. But nothing was explained enough to actually make sense, was it? Let's be honest.
No.
Yeah. No. Mel just turns up, as you say, just to basically be, oh, by the way, I met Devani, and that was it.
It was stupid as well. She drives the Mark Reeves. Thank you for your super chat. Go on, Ian. What's another name for the male genitals?
Bollocks.
Cool Boys Backyard is saying Billy Piper, I've heard, is pulled out of that event. Oh, really? Already?
Ooh.
Yeah, because there's people with, like I say, it's like that scene from Airplane 2. Everyone's queuing up with baseball bats and stuff like that.
Well, I do wonder, actually, because I was supposed to see Billy back in March at Comic-Con Aberdeen, and she cancelled.
Ah, right.
So I do wonder if that has anything to tie in or not. But she
Could
cancelled
make
back
sense,
in
yeah.
March.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe, does that when she filmed it, or is she just not allowed to go?
The remounts were done anywhere between January and March. Yes, apparently, yeah, as part of the setup.
So that could have been it then.
Yeah, it could have been that. Can we at least have some appreciation for Murray Gold? Says the Anon email. That soundtrack was gorgeous. Also, genuinely love the Doctor's speech about beautiful things being forgotten.
Did all of you laugh when you saw that shot of Shooty when he was lying on the grass with his hands touching the grass? That was brilliant.
Now we have to say that was brilliant. But again, the chat. Thank you for your super chat, much appreciated. Only thing interesting to me was the Rani and Omega, but RTD screwed them up in quick fashion. Unfortunately, I wasn't surprised. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that any second now because you're not alone. But that bit that Paul's just been talking about, which was this. That was a message to all of us. There he is.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious, wasn't it, everybody?
Yeah.
Pretty obvious. But a gag on all of us. Well, ha, RTD. Yes, we get it, but screw you.
And that was probably one of the reshoots as well, I bet it was. Yeah.
Well, that whole thing, remember we did some headlines. We'd had pictures of them at the beginning of the year outside the house or something. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was there.
I thought he was in the garden where Sir Isaac Newton was, and we get an explanation from Mavity. But was I wrong? Yes, I was.
Emilio, what did you say?
I was gonna say when I saw that scene, I thought they were gonna end. It could have been like Donna and Garden, and then like you were gonna see David Tennant. That's literally what I was thinking.
That's what I thought as well.
I thought slightly more left field because he's shit on everything else, hasn't he? I thought for a moment that was going to be the Doctor's garden that we saw in the screen in the Three Doctors, and a CGI Hartnell was coming on.
I thought that too, Ian.
I genuinely thought that, and I was just thinking, please, dear God, don't. And mercifully, he didn't. But
yeah, I thought that too. I thought, oh my God, they're going to go into that one as well. But it turned out to be the other one that they brought in, and she was turned up. There are lots of you in the chat tonight. So pleased to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. If you are new to our channel, please give us a subscription. We have got lots of stuff coming up for you because this topic that we are talking about tonight is going to feed us for ages because this thing is now off the air. It's off the air. When we get any sign of anything gearing up in Bad Wolf or wherever it's going to be with BBC Studios, we're going to be talking about. So make sure you've subscribed to our channel. Please give us a thumbs up and come and join us. Because this is he's done it deliberately as well, isn't it? What an idiot. Probably what the reshoots were about, says Sliver Wolf. Absolutely. And hello to this. I can't say that. Can anyone, we've had you on the show before. It's nice to see you back. Zad Badzag Zok, I think it was. The doctor literally killed himself just to make his companion a single divorced mother. What was that about, Zad? I don't understand it.
So he basically sacrificed himself so that he could basically bring Poppy into like real existence, basically, because in the because reality was off basically like by 1%, basically, and the 1% or 99% reality, Belinda doesn't have a Poppy, and now he wanted to save her life, even though she was wished into existence, and basically that meant that Belinda, who didn't have Poppy before, then suddenly has Poppy, and that's the reason why she wanted to get back home. It's
my handbag. I need pastry.
Yeah, can I ask Amelia, because you obviously understood it more than I did? Does that mean he reset reality in order for Belinda to have the child, or did she always have the child when the show first started for episode 1?
I understood it as the first that basically the purpose was to bring bring Poppy into real existence, and the ramifications of that is that then Poppy, basically then Belinda now has Poppy, although the Poppy was created from Belinda.
Okay, hold on. Ian, I think Amelia's watched it 4 times at least. I think.
I think
he's got so much detail in there. He must have done.
He's probably that 0.17 million that was reported. Amelia, I am so disappointed, mate. You need a serious talk. I'm getting on the train. I'm coming. I am. We're having a talk, mate.
We've got the chat. Thank you to the chat for your super chat there. Ian has his own handles, like the 11th Doctor. Yes, there it is, a proper Cyberman there. We've got R. John saying to Miles, yes, the theory was that Billy's filming was why she cancelled that particular Comic-Con you were going to go and see her at. The Goat was saying, was speech about forgotten things a hint at the reshoot ending? Oh, it's also, I mean, the script wasn't going to work anyway. You could see that. But even to do that was just rubbish. Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. If David returns as Billy's companion, I'll scream and nobody will watch. Azal is with us. Thank you, Azal. It's lovely to see you. Been watching you this week on the telly. You are wonderful. You are marvelous. I love you. Shame you never got any work anymore in anything else. The saddest, most infuriating moment was when we saw a clip of an outstanding Pertwee adventure, followed by the highlight of Gatwa's era, him dancing with another man. What have you done, RTD? And that way, they kept the Daleks in the series, didn't they?
Yeah.
They kept the Daleks there. Thistle podcast, behind the scenes of the garden scene, they have coats and veranda, and I had a water bottle since it was cold, probably January, February. Plus, you can see Shooty's breath as it was cold when it was filmed. I noticed that as well, but I thought that would just be me because I'm a bit sad like that, and I notice things like that.
The bit with John Pertwee, from the other Daleks, that look on his face says it all, didn't it? That's how we all felt. That kind of like look of anguish on his face when he's being tortured by the Daleks. Incredible, So
there was smacks of Paul. There was smacks of Clara for me there as well. What's Anita or whatever her name is? Anita Baker. She's going through all the doors from the Time Hotel. And whatever, trying to find her, and then she finally sees that it was.
So the Time Hotel can open any door into any place at all. It's maybe a bloody hotel. It's like,
and don't forget, Paul. It says in the Joy to the World that it's only where there's a door on the other side, but now the door appears in the sky and everything. And big shout out
the Dalek control room. Oops, sorry, I'm the cleaner. Sorry,
big shout out to Anita. Bless her. She's pregnant and she's standing there for a good 50 minutes opening. Doors.
She was a doorstop, wasn't she? All she was there for was holding the door open. Unbelievable, really.
Because it was trying to repeat the Stolen Earth with characters that meant something to an audience with the characters he's thrown in here, but they didn't mean anything.
They meant nothing to us. That's the thing.
No.
There was huge differences.
The way constantly stitching in bits of classic Doctor Who, and they've all done it, but just as a method of saying to proper fans who they told to bugger off ages ago, just to try and tell us, look, this is the same program. You have to like it because it's the same thing. So no, it's not. Those attempts don't work. It's just absolute utter toss.
We've got Rose Kirby with us. Hello, Rose. Hope you can hear us okay. Hey, most of the redo was February and March for the reality war. Yeah, we covered that in headlines at the time, actually. It was very suspicious at the time, and now we know why. Thank you for your super chat from Andy Gledhill. RTD has now destroyed the memory of at least 4 classic villains: Davros, Sutek, the Rani, and Omega. Well done. Yes, I'm going to agree with that one. And thank you, Jack Dexter, for your super chat there as well. I think, Kirst, can you say that? Because I can't see what that is.
I can't see that either.
Okay, but thank you, Jack. We love you. We're giving you a big shout out. Thank you for that very much. There's also another one coming up as well. Problem Being's in the chat with us as well. Thank you. Nice to see you, mate. Thank you for helping Kirsty in there. And we've got PTA. Thank you so much for this. Did the BBC veto this trash before broadcasting? Obviously not.
Clearly not. No.
Obviously not. While we're talking about reshoots, can we just point out what we did mention this week in headlines? It was this. The original ending of Doctor Who Series 2 before the reshoots was, according to Daniel Rickman on X, the Doctor, Ruby, Belinda, etc. are all having a big party. Everyone's dancing and the Vlinks is a DJ. Susan is seen over watching them from afar, which would have been the cliffhanger leading into season 3. We also had, as you can see there, the German Disney Plus with that particular photo, which we'll zoom in on now. That was taken from the original ending. As you can see, Happy May Day is what will be on the screen behind them. So Ncuti wasn't going to leave.
And clearly, obviously, Belinda didn't have a child either, probably. Yeah.
And what was the point? Because she was in that they got rid of. Caroline Ford let down after all this time by whatever's going on. The
thing is, if she was going to be in season 3 and there's no season 3, why did they have the snippets in the previous episode? They should have taken her out completely, because it doesn't make any sense, you know?
What did make sense about this entire series?
Nothing. Yeah.
I mean, we've had since Tennant, we had about over 20 episodes here, and as you said there before, Ian, as you've said on the show before, Paul, nothing was explained. Nothing was there. They've reshot this ending, which was just pure soap opera bull nonsense. For why? What was that about? Why? That's all he can write, Who viewers. All this idiot can write is soap. So bugger off back. Stay on Channel 4 with your new TQ cult drama, you idiot. We don't want you in Doctor Who.
And breaking the fourth wall, that wasn't explained either. There was no indication why that was happening. If it's a Truman Show type idea, it wasn't that at all. Don't know
he did say he didn't feel the need to explain that. Remember, we covered that.
That's just lazy writing. That's what that
totally.
is.
Totally.
What's even funny in this episode is when Ruby asks a genuine question, which is, how comes I can remember like the pre-reality, and then the Doctor just goes, I don't know. That's how bad it got.
That just says it all, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Thank you, Hugh Janus, for your super chat. The forgotten things were all the plot holes left. I can feel myself getting a headache talking about this thing again, and I'm getting, last night I was just so after it, for several reasons. A, because it was just awful. I can't stand what he did to Omega and the Rani. That was just what. If you're going to do that to villains, create your own, you muppet.
Yeah, I mean, Omega was unrecognizable in this, wasn't he? I mean, to be honest, I didn't feel like Omega at all, so I can dismiss that quite easily. But the Rani was completely a wasted opportunity, and they should have actually. I'd have actually preferred if the monster Omega had eaten Anita Dobson rather than.
Well, no, hang on a minute. Firstly, what do you mean that doesn't look like Omega? I mean, what are you talking about? And secondly,
well, if you squint a little bit, maybe I don't know. But...
I mean, again, another CGI monstrosity. Thank God that we had Stephen Thorne.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good effect, a good visual effect, but it's definitely not Omega at all, is it? Let's be honest.
Why did it have to be Omega? Why couldn't you have just come up with his own villain from another alternate dimension or something?
Yeah. Because he's not good enough. He's not clever enough. He's not professional enough to do something that doesn't involve plagiarizing somebody else's work. He just doesn't have what it takes. And he has no oversight, and he has a God complex because he's already said, as we've referenced loads of times, nobody dares say no to him.
Yeah, I'm wondering though, Ian, if somebody did by saying get rid of Gatwa, maybe he's been used as a scapegoat. Because remember, back in 2022 or 23, whenever we realized Gatwa was on the way, at that BAFTA thing, around that time, remember everybody, he was saying, RTD was saying, I can see Ncuti doing it for 5 years.
Well, that's a relief, isn't it? Really, that he's gone now. Yeah. And like I said, he didn't buy Regenerate. Hopefully, he's still not hanging about. So,
Thank God.
yeah.
And as Ian said earlier around Omega, it's such an interesting character, and it's quite a sympathetic character. To basically simplify him into just some form of, as you said, Ian, like factually, all of the facts about him being the first time, all of that, like RTD, for Christ's sake, you don't even know your fact first. Second of all, is you just bolt him down to some sort of mad god zombie basically. And to be fair, everyone was saying it's going to be another CGI monster. To be honest, with the seal of Rassilon, right? So I was half expecting like a seal to pop out. So it was a little bit of an upgrade when a mummified creature pops out. But he has such an iconic look, Omega. It's just such a.
I can tell you
to that character.
I can tell you that script wouldn't have passed with Bob Baker.
Yeah.
No.
I can tell you that. I am certain of that. Never mind who's around today. Bob would not have allowed that. There you go. Stuart Kerrigan saying, sounds sad, but there's a definite risk that might be it for that incarnation of Susan in Doctor Who. Unless he gets, unless BBC Studios say, oh, you've got your 3 and 4 series planned out, let's go with it. And then he can pick it up where he left off. But it's going to be.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Lex Kane's with us. Hello, Lex. Was Gatwa touching of grass plus waste of time with Omega only in it for 5 minutes? Also, Billy Piper is not Doctor Who. Being playing Rose Tyler the moment the Bad Wolf. RTD, you've ruined Doctor Who. Hashtag sack RTD from this show. And we've got here the chat. Thank you for super chat. They also filmed where Barbie and Ken showed up.
Really?
Oh, really?
God.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. And Sean Cryer, they probably did Susan a favour. Not exactly good at bringing classic characters back, are they? And he should know better because apparently he's a fan.
Yeah.
And this is right, Marcus. We got more Poppy at the expense of Susan.
There was a bit. Do you remember? Sorry, I talked with Poppy. You watched Unleashed, Emilio. It made me laugh. There's a bit of an outtake on it where the kid who plays Poppy shoots in his dress, his skirt thing, and apparently the kid said, "What are you wearing?" Perfect.
She's one of those.
Honestly, yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you can share some more information if there was anything in that making of the Unleashed show in this with us as well, because I'm just exhausted with it. 8 weeks. I think we've all aged, not just the panel, but everybody who watched this with us we've all aged, because that was a hell of an 8 weeks, wasn't it, everybody? Yeah. Lawrence Steele, RTD said that Ncuti has covered every emotion it can imagine, which is what makes him a great doctor. No, the complete opposite. No wonder the show has gone so wrong. Legion of James, I can't fit everything in I want to say in the chat, but luckily the panel are on the same page and are saying it for me. This is why I love Who's Views. It's proper old school fandom, and we're bloody proud of it as well. We want Doctor Who. We don't want all this CGI. Let's throw in the kitchen sink and let's see who's going to walk into the next. We don't want Mel going up a lift in a bike, going up the lift to the top floor and then out onto to make a dramatic entrance. That was rubbish. Why would she do that? Elvis 77, thank you for your super chat. We all deserve a license refund for a bad show. Write in. You can write in. Carl Forsyth Gray, nice to see you. The show needs a break and a new creative team. There are clearly struggles going on behind the scenes. I agree. That's probably us gossiping, isn't it, Carl? But I agree. Something's going on back there. Something's going on. Somebody somewhere has said something. And they've gone with it so they're not called ists or phobes. During Jack Rapid, Jack, a huge weight is off my shoulder. It's over. I can enjoy classic Who again. A lot of you in the chat. Thank you. Moira Goddard. RTD brings in classic villains because he knows it hurts us, the true fans. Cool Boy's Backyard. Could we see a former Doctor returning as the Master? Matt Smith hinted he would love this to happen. He did a while ago as well. He did.
But why? They can't do that. They're too associated with the other character, the Doctor or the companion. It's okay if you've done a one-off, like Colin Baker playing the Sixth Doctor, playing Maxwell, or
if it was before.
Or Peter Capaldi playing that Roman character, so that's one-off character. But if you played a character for 2 years, you're associated with that character. It's very difficult to distinguish from the two if you're in the same series, don't you think? They're very much typecast in the series because of that. You know what I mean?
Doctor is the Doctor.
I think RTD needs to, and others like him, you know, Moffat, Chin Bowles, and all the rest, that they need to understand that other actors are available.
Yeah.
You know, it's I know in theatre they have like
Reps.
repertory companies and things like that, don't they? Which I understand that, you know, especially if it's touring and everything, you can take the people with you that you know. Great, I get that. That makes sense. But for something like television, it makes absolutely no sense just using the same pool of ultimately very, very. I'll tell you, it wasn't the Time Lords that's sterile. It's RTD's imagination.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to go for that. It's totally true, though, isn't he? Get him off the show. Problem being, thank you for your super chat. After making the Sonic not look like a gun because of negative stereotypes, Fruity Fatware ends up killing Omega with a weapon that looked like a gun.
Like a rifle, yeah.
Andy Radart, for your super chat, thank you. Poppy was real. The doctor said she was, and she was alive in the Time Hotel. So why was she then created by the Wish? Was this messed up by reshoots? Yes, it was. I'm sure there was a very quick explanation. I'm sure they would have let the kid pop off in something else.
These people are maybe professional TV makers. Surely they can sort that out at the scripting stage and then edit it properly, make it have some sense or some semblance of sense, you know?
Hello, is that BAFTA? Can I have an award for Paul for a joke, please? Thank you, Darren. What else we got here? We've got Matt532, who gives a monkey about poppies. Did the monkey? I'm not sure. And Sandy Cheeks. Nice to see you, Sandy Cheeks. Welcome to Who's Views. Most have cut Susan's scenes. They were cut badly as well, weren't they? Leaving a gaping plot hole. A plot hole from RTD, I hear you all say. Yes, shocking. And the chat, thank you for this. Your super chat, I was kidding about Barbie and Ken, but it is RTD.
That point.
Anything will go now, and God help us if he gets it back.
Yeah, it's RTD pretty much ripping off himself, because I was having to think about it. Okay, so the Doctor regenerates because he saved one person's life. So we've had that in the End of Time, for example, where the Doctor saves himself for Wilf. And we had an episode where the main villain that you think is the villain of the episode, which is the Rani, like in the End of Time, we have the Master, who trying to bring, basically the episode trying to bring back the Time Lords. We're trying to bring back Omega. It's literally he's recycling the same plot line, but where before you could
back to series one, Emilio. Eccleston's Doctor sacrificed himself for Rose.
That's true. Yeah, exactly that too. Exactly. But the thing is, back then there were care put into the characters, right? There's justification for the Doctor sacrificing himself for Wilf.
There's a
as
logic.
An audience, you've already been invested in Wilf as a character. Why the heck? Actually, I'm going to swear here. Why the fuck do any of us? Why should we care about Poppy? Please explain to me why the hell.
Sorry, GT's mum, if you're watching, just apologise for that profanity for that young lad there. Just say that.
Well, we've just got.
Why should we care? Why?
John is wanting to know how was Poppy in space, babies? God knows. And Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. I love coming here to chat with you all online, friends, and tell jokes about RTT. But the biggest joke is him as a writer. Destroy my childhood memories. You will not succeed. Nobody can stop you. Well, we did. Yes, the viewing figures did, and something must have happened because they had to reshoot the last episode. Joe Chapman needs a hug. Send up virtual hugs, everybody. There you go, Joe. I hope that's going to be good enough for you there. But you're with us. You're with friends.
You know, of hugging, watching the episode. It happened every 5 minutes, didn't it? Just about. Yeah. Another character, Mel. Rose.
Philip Roy is saying JT and Paul had a full head of hair when this season started, you cheeky monkey.
I was 27 when this started, I'm telling you.
Yes, and I'm still 27. Steve Black is saying Mel with CGI hair. Mel looked like a very badly made up drag queen.
Yes.
What were they doing? Awful.
It was a bit of a laugh when she took the helmet off and she did all that kind of thing. That was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Mark Milford, thank you for your super chat. Making this was like taking chemotherapy because your hair is too long. I didn't need it to happen. It's bloody terrible there. Thank you for that. And Carl Goddard is saying to us, an actor had been cast as Belinda's father. I saw that as well somewhere, and he'd been boasting about it on social media, but he was nowhere to be seen in the episode. He probably appeared in the aborted party scene finale. Yes, because that was somewhere, guys, in an original cast list that I saw a while ago, that Belinda's mum and dad were in it, hence why they were mentioned in the first episode. So yeah. Oh,
That's quite offensive that they didn't even give him the heads up.
Yeah.
this can happen. You can end up on the cutting room floor at any time. We all know that. But to reshoot things and end up on the cutting room floor because something's wrong with the series or they've got to do something. So this whole thing between the garden scene, Whittaker, Piper, something's going on here, everybody. I'll tell you, something's going on. What about this from Fan 01-ish? What about the empowering moment when the Doctor changed back into his skirt, played like it was the most heroic moment of all time?
I pissed myself laughing when that happened.
Did you?
It was very funny.
It was awful. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be such a proud moment as well, and he just looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
How did he do it so quick?
He's the Doctor. That's what they'll say. Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
He actually looked quite good. He looked quite good in the suit as well.
He looked better in the suit.
That suit looks good. Yeah, they did look good.
Yeah.
Lex is saying to us for a super chat, we need a refund for wasting 66 minutes of Disney Who. I think we need a refund for watching the entire 2 years.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
It's been really, I hope they're all watching things like this. Get off your bloody smug high horses, looking down on the rest of us and start listening. Just give us bloody Doctor Who. Proper science fiction. Don't try and be clever. Get rid of your soap opera nonsenses. Keep the Doctor a male and get on with it, you idiots. It's not that, pun intended, it's not rocket science, for Christ's sake. Just give us the monsters, men in rubber suits, etc., etc. These people who are currently producing it. Bad Wolf, you should be hanging your heads in shame. And personally, I hope you never get any work again because you've let us down badly and I'm pissed off today. I'm sorry, but it's today, the 1st of June, 2025. It's just gone 10 to 9 and I am annoyed again. All right, guys, keep it going.
Well, they're all culpable as each other, right? RTD obviously for writing it, but the people that have allowed him to get away with murder, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, even the actors who are in it have some self-dignity. Sure, it really felt when I was watching the episode last night that even the actors didn't know what the hell was going on. They didn't believe the lines they were saying. It's like, sure, but because they're all either scared to basically stand up to RTD or say what the hell he did, or they've all been brought into this mad idea that he's a genius and just go along with it. It's going to be a success.
Yeah, just say the lines confidently and go on with it. Yeah, it's kind of there's too many characters in it as well. That's part of the problem. They have nothing to do, any of them to do. There's far too many of them, and there's no character development at all.
Yeah.
Well, Belinda's going to be the one that's going to be forgotten most as well because she was supposed to be a companion. But who was she? Why? And why was it? I don't understand this then because they did this. The scene that we sort of touched on there. I got completely confused about that. So the Doctor had a selective memory. What was the whole thing with going on about Ruby? Why could she see things like the others? Why did she remember Poppy? Why was she on a sort of different time? I am totally over it because it was just stupid. It didn't make any sense.
Why was Susan Twist in this? She was completely pointless as well. Why was she needed to be in the cast at all?
Well, did it make it up to the 8 or 9 he needed? Sorry, go on.
Say that again?
Like I said, when she said that I would like born of the TARDIS. When did that happen? That didn't happen in the Empires of Death. Like that. What the hell are you talking about? And also the funny thing is, the kind of in Conrad's wish world, Rose, right, was deleted because of course, Conrad is a transphobe and so, but again, Rose turns up in the finale. Last year she was just holding an iPad, or whatever, the character, whoever, Rose holding her iPad. And then Rose is in this one is just brought back just to highlight that Conrad is a transphobe and basically does nothing for the whole episode. Yeah, RTD, you're doing a great job even with your own agenda in trying to push, give these individuals really good scripts and really good characters. Well done.
It was also the desperation, as I say, and as he said in Doctor Who magazine or something, he was trying to repeat the Stolen Earth. That's where the parts of this would come from. But in the Stolen Earth, you had Sarah Jane, you had Donna, you had Jack, you had Martha, you had Rose, you even had Jackie, you had Mickey, you had people that you actually had invested years in. So you actually cared.
Yeah, 4 years to get to know them. Yeah.
In the case of Sarah, a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, we didn't care about any of these people. There weren't that emotional investment. And I think that's where the reshoot came in and the rewrite came in to be able to say, we'll get all these in, we'll put them in. I'm going to try and recreate that. So I reckon that's why Rose Noble turns up again. and does nothing. Can't even hold a clipboard properly. It's just the tick boxing element there as well. Bonnie was put in because she was around. She was doing the same thing, but she wasted. Even the scene between Rani and Mel, which I'd been looking forward to. No, I'm sorry, Archie. I love Archie. I think she's a great actress. You'll know that if you're a regular here. I was really looking forward to it, but she was bloody wasted in this show. He gave her a dull script, and that scene between Archie and Bonnie, the actresses couldn't get to grip with it because the script was ridiculous, the text was ridiculous. It didn't land for me.
And why has the Rani got a time ring and not her own TARDIS? Why should I got her own TARDIS?
Because something's happened to the TARDIS. I sort of got that through because the Doctor, it's been established the Doctor has the only TARDIS now in creation. Eccleston
But
said
why?
that,
Why he's only got well last
where's the Master?
last era the Master had his own TARDIS, so it's all nonsense.
Yeah,
Or
so
to quote
very
you, it's all
confusing.
bollocks. So have another drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the original, it wasn't established in this reboot that they can grow them.
Apparently, yeah.
Stupid. She would find a way to keep hold of her TARDIS. It's the Rani. I was expecting the Bone Palace.
She's got a Starlight remote control as well. She could have probably got it back quite easily, you know.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. There was no way the Rani would lose the TARDIS. Go on.
You know, though, JT, what you were saying about the confrontation between Mel and the Rani. You compare that to when Davros clocked Sarah Jane in Stolen Earth. That sent a genuine shiver, didn't it? Because it was so well played, and it just had so much resonance. Whereas this was absolutely nothing, and you felt nothing. It was just absolutely.
He tried
unreal.
to repeat it, Ian.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
I mean, he can't even rip himself off, can he? Really? He just can't even rip himself. When you can't rip yourself off, you've entered another realm of shit. You're not just shit. You're RTD. You know, it's like Marks and Spencer's, isn't it? This is when RTD does shit. It's a different level again. And oh god.
And the acting was terrible in that scene. I have to say, between I thought the dialogue was terrible. I thought the acting was really terrible. It was a bit like, it came across a bit like a pantomime parody, and unfortunately RTD has a tendency to do this even with John Sims Master, and he's obviously done it to Rani. Is, you know, I think Archie, when you could tell when she could play it a little bit down, you know, less pantomime and a bit more serious, that she can act. By sure,
she can. Yeah, she was very good.
He made her into another just basic pantomime villain, cheesy, corny, goofy. Just
there was no reason for the Rani to be there apart from the minority fan service. This could have been his own creation, a mad female scientist, because that's all she was playing, and they could have had another one, you know, another one, and the fact that Omega, in inverted commas, because that was no way in shape or form, Omega, Etta, what the hell? Since when has he been a cannibal?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Again, he's written himself into this thing and he doesn't know how to do it. So like he did with Sutek and turned him into a dog on a leash outside the TARDIS, here we've got him pushed back in with whatever that was doing, some CGI effects. I don't know what it was. It wasn't Omega. I mean, it was so disrespectful. I can feel Bob's anger over this. There's no way he would have allowed that. Real Steve, could Caroline Ford have been dropped for Jodie? Was Susan meant to have been there at the TARDIS at the end? Real Steve, I said it before, you might have missed us. Absolutely, she was dropped for that reason. She was dropped because Susan was, as we were mentioning earlier, supposed to be in the final scene, and that would have acted as the cliffhanger into an alleged series 3.
Yeah.
People have also said that maybe Disney because they've had a hand in
thank you, Warren.
And maybe Disney were like, you know, they're thinking about the new audience in America anyway that they think that they have. Nobody can understand what, you know, Susan, and it won't have an emotional impact. So they decided, let's shove in Jodie, or let's find someone who's free. Basically.
Well, that's going to give even more emotion, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
You know, it's bad when I was actually genuinely excited to see Jodie on screen. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Jodie!" I couldn't believe it. I
was the same as I felt she was actually quite good compared to Shooty. I quite liked her on the particular scene. Yeah.
George is saying to us, the cinema experience I had was strange because George went, thank you for your email, by the way, mate. George went along to the cinema to watch this, and he said people were seemingly happy with the Billy regeneration. Were they? Were they clapping like seals? I wonder why, George. I hope he said to them, what are you lot doing? That's not the Doctor. Oh, God. But thank you for sharing that with us, because you did go to the... We forget people went to the cinema. We went to the cinema.
God bless them.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, RTD ain't going nowhere, says Plymouth here. He probably realizes that this is his last chance to be king of his own little world. That's a bit like Omega. He'll take Who down with him until his cult have no further use for him and cancel him. Very much like Omega. Dr. Wants is saying clearly it was supposed to be Ruby as Poppy's mum and not Belinda.
Yeah.
Digital pollution once. So did the woman in the wheelchair hit 88 miles per hour? That was rubbish as well.
And the brakes didn't fail.
Cheesy as hell.
Yeah.
Just on that chat about, I do think the whole Poppy thing was designed with in mind that Millie would have stayed on for a second season, because it's Millie and the shooting doctor that basically say to Poppy, oh, kind of the doctor says, oh, I wish you were my daughter, and it would have made more sense, I think, the whole Poppy thing. Not very really. It made sense anyway, but it would have made more sense with had it been Millie. I do think Millie's sudden, kind of disappearance after season 1 and just coming back sporadically, that obviously wasn't planned, right, when he was originally writing this. So it does feel as a lot of kind of rejigging thing, not just at the end, but also within the episode itself.
Emilio, you have to do like some kind of commentary to explain how this episode works, because you've really nailed it, I think.
Yeah.
I've listened to. I have listened to quite a few other
other theories. Yeah.
Reviews over the past day to try and get my head around what I was watching.
The problem is everybody's going to interpret it their way. It doesn't make it actually the right thing, because if he does come back, he's going to change it all. Because people are reading too much into the fact that Billy is there. It doesn't mean she's the Doctor.
It's stunt casting for to wind up the series a little bit. And if it comes back 2-3 years down the line, Billy's not going to wait that time to do it. Let's be honest, she'll be off doing other things, won't she?
Of course she is. She will come back to do a Christmas special, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Digby, thank you for your super chat. We've got a lot of awful new people in the chat as well. It's great to see you. We are going to be asking for years to come, what the hell happened to RTD between 2009 and 2022? Part of that is I can tell you, Brexit, the TQ cult, the Tories, that's what's happened. All these things, it's political. He's turned into a real mad, extreme left-wing ideologist. That's what's happened to him. And people not doing what he thinks they should be doing. Carlo Belton, good to see you. Is that Nightwing? RTD is clearly to blame. However, the other side of this dented coin is the BBC, who have pushed him and this rubbish, as both parties wanted to tell agenda stories instead of great stories and sci-fi. What do you make of that, guys?
Well, I think the BBC trusted Russell to do what he did before, and they gave him carte blanche thinking it'd be fine. And they let him get away with it. And they didn't see it till it was too late. And trying to reshoot is really expensive, isn't it? So they can't. There was nobody, as we said, no script editor, no one monitoring what was going ahead in the scripts itself, the story ideas. No one was looking at it. He was allowed to do what he liked, as he said himself.
It'd be interesting to see if the magazine do a making of thingy and a making of book. I don't know if they still do, but it'd be interesting to see if they actually touch on this. Because where did the money come from for a reshoot? Hello to Messa 36. I'll come to you in a second. Husband is the fan, but I've been sympathizing for years. What a wasted opportunity with these episodes. She's been sympathizing for years. I love that, Messa. What a wasted opportunity with these episodes. I wanted more Omega, more the Rani, more Gallifrey, more lore, less bore. Still sympathizing. Thank you, Messa. Welcome to Who's Views. I hope your fella's all right as well. And Chris Scullop, welcome to Who's Views. Comic-Con Wales have made no announcements about Billy Piper pulling out. They are still selling photos and autographs for both days.
They didn't do that until literally the day before for Comic-Con Aberdeen, so don't be surprised if they do that.
That happens quite a lot with actors' commitments, doesn't it? I mean, they pull out for other work because it's other work, so that happens.
Yeah. Well, they have to all the time. It's always the problem, isn't it, when you go to see a particular actor? I've been upset myself where you go to see a particular actor and they've been lucky enough to get a job. How dare they? But yeah, GD. Hello, GT. This was akin to RTD regeneration into Chibnall on screen. Ian, you were going to say something there, mate. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the BBC had been incredibly naive with him, and Bad Wolf were, I think, just incredibly afraid and stupid. I think they've had so much faith that this egotistical, deranged, aging, angry man was going to pull off the kind of thing that he pulled off in 2005. And the more I look back on it, what he pulled out in 2005 and those first 4 years was probably more luck than judgment, based on the efforts again of other people. You know, there was oversight, which we've talked about before with Mal Young, but there was also a lot more of varied, very, very good writers. You know, I mean, even Cornell, for God's sake, they produced some really good stories. But there's none of that now. And giving somebody like Russell T Davies carte blanche is the most stupid thing you could possibly do. It's like letting a fox in the hen house and saying, I trust you with my chickens. What could go wrong? You know, and we've just got a hen house full of butchered chickens, haven't we? There's an analogy for you.
Great analogy. Great analogy. Robin Calvert is saying to us, generous screen time of 70 minutes was squandered with what played like improvised drama over Poppy. I totally agree. Meanwhile, a wasted opportunity for Susan to be reunited with the Doctor, as we were led to believe. What the hell was the point of Poppy? Why was she important? I missed it all. Don't really care. Crimpling to Bloom, Tennant still has the TARDIS. Good point. Alfie Jack, 14 has a TARDIS. Matt 532. There are 2 TARDISes down the road. Again, he's written himself into that stupid corner with that ridiculous bi-generation. And listen, he said he was going to explain it, didn't he? Did he?
Dirty hell.
Yeah.
Dirty hell, yeah.
In quotation.
I didn't hear it if he did.
It was something about for the species to survive.
Miles, say again, sorry, Miles.
It was about for basically the species to survive is why all of a sudden we've got bi-generation now, is so that the Time Lords keep going on. And that's why we've got that now. That was it. That was the line. Done.
Again, that's nonsense, isn't it? They just keep regenerating and they give each other more life cycles. That's what they've done so far. So they don't need to reproduce, do they, at all? You know?
I don't understand it all at all. And you know what? I'm not going to think about it too much. Keep telling me. Keep your chats coming through. Carl Forsyth Graves sent to us, these seasons were RTD's fantasy, a camp gay hot blade muscle Mary in a Broadway musical. You never got to write. No, not homophobia. I'm as bent as a banana. Well, welcome to the club, Carl, because I am as well. And Doctor Who needs a break and a new direction. Yeah, Carl, you're right as well. But that was the whole thing about this version of the Doctor. And I'm going to say it again. I hated Rogue, and I will hate Rogue to the day I pass. That's why this whole thing is not Doctor Who. Gatwa isn't Doctor Who for me. It doesn't count. I've lived through it all, never going back to it. But the Doctor is not clear in any way, shape, or form. Carla Carulo G is saying, I thought for a moment that the Rani was cosplaying as Mel again, as her hair was different and she was talking quite forced, but not sure if that was just me. It wasn't just you, because the whole thing was, I don't know what was wrong with Bonnie and Archie that day. I blame the script. They couldn't land it.
Yeah, they couldn't. Yeah.
Stephen O'Neill, welcome to the show. It was a shame the 15th Doctor didn't regenerate into Sean Pertwee, who first met Omega in the 3 Doctors. And Benjamin Elliott saying to us, I wonder what the Disney execs thought when they saw this episode. I thought they said, take the checkbook away.
They're saying, can we have our money back, please? We've got the receipts. Yeah.
Oh, look at what else we've got here. We've got Just Jordan saying, I wonder if Anita's boss is Susan. Oh, that was clearly meant to be for the next season.
The boss is going to be the boss from the Pertwee, and that's what it is. I reckon that's his plan. The boss is actually the boss. Like,
that wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
He's done the whole analogy thing, so he'll just flip it on his head and go, yeah, no. When I say the boss, I mean the super giant computer.
Oh,
the boss
from the Green Death.
From the Green Death, yeah.
Bimorphic
organization. Who knows? Yeah.
Okay, Digby, thank you so much for your super chat. We are going to be asking for years to come. What the hell? Oh, I read that one, didn't I? But thank you again. Jay Smalls with us. Hello, Jay. Welcome to Who's Views. Remember, if you're new to the channel, please give us a subscription. We've got lots more to come as we look at this, and we've got this Ruddy Sea Devil thing. Don't get me started on that one tonight. Jay is with us again.
I know size isn't important. I've got a little one. Look, there we are.
Put that away. Goodness me, we might be
You
after
want to
the
compare maggots, Paul? Come on then.
Yeah, that maggot competition. Yeah.
Jay Smaller said she spelled it wrong and accidentally summoned Amigo, a completely different creature. Yes, somebody obviously told, like with Matt Smith, who couldn't say Metabilis. Shooty was obviously corrected because halfway through he started called Omega. And I thought, oh look, somebody's told him, and they can't go back. Stephen O'Neill saying, rumor has it that RTD has written a Christmas special for this year, Doctor Who meets Alice in Wonderland. There is a book about that already out there with Peter Davis's Doctor. Disturbance Film and TV. Anita Dobson mentioned in an interview that Space Babies had relevance in the finale and everything linked up. Where exactly?
She lied. She lied.
Yeah, where was that? Yeah, you're right, Disturbance. Where the hell was it? Anyone?
No idea.
I think it's just a wish. The fact that the Doctor said he wished Poppy would be his daughter, and that, and then she wished into existence in this. But that doesn't. Again, wish has. This is a sci-fi show. Wishing things into existence. It's just that's what 3-year-olds do. When they're writing, or kids do when they're trying to imagine things. This is a grown adult. It's just,
but it's
honestly,
the intellectual level you put it at, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
I sense that everybody in the chat needs to take a drink. So Ian, say it.
Bollocks.
There you go. Swig, everybody. Jake, hello, Jake. Welcome to Who's Views. How do they expect to find the next Tom Baker or Matt Smith if they keep using DEI or stunt casting? What a brilliant point. How are they going to do that when they keep phoning up the club? Hey, do you want to come into Doctor Who? Hey, do you want to do this? It's always got to move on, hasn't it? And I'm going back to the Carol Ann Ford thing. We all these years, Carol Ann and Susan have never featured in Doctor Who, apart from the 5 Doctors in 1983. And go on, Paul.
Dimension of Time in 1993, of course, as well. But I'll forget that because that bit was awful, I have to say. That bit was awful.
And here she is again, and not used at all because of some reason they had to reshoot the ending. Poor Carol Ann. This is why you don't bring back your legacy characters, because you can crap on them from a great height like you can your fandom. Awful bloody stuff. Thank you, Evan Rogers, for your super chat. We should be trashing everything after the Husbands of River song. They stole a role model for young men and boys from a generation that cries out for one. Hear, hear. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing now, continuing. The Husbands of River song, yeah. I didn't like that one either, I have to say. I thought that was a bit... It was a Christmas one, so I turned a blind eye to it. I only watched it once. And thank you for that, Evan. Appreciate it. Welcome to Who's Views. And Joe Chapman, RTD was on a leash and needed to be. His influence was Captain Jack, bisexual, lesbian lizards. Oh, Joe, don't. Yeah.
It's like all the bad tendencies were there in RTD1 now when you look at it, and you can definitely tell he was straying from his worst impulses, basically. Because what we're getting now is basically the bad impulses that we saw in RTD1 on steroids, basically.
They'll totally. I'm gonna. But there's a lot of you coming to this point. I'm so angry, says Pete Harrington. All right, Pete. I want my viewing figure back. I write to Echo and the Benny Men for advice from my local MP. Mega the Extremist is saying, just when I think RTD's mental illness couldn't get any worse, we get shite like the reality war. Thank goodness for JT, Ian, and Paul, and everybody else I'm going to include. You guys have been tremendous help during these troubled times, just as much as you guys in the chat have been tremendous help for me to get me through the 8 weeks. I can't wait to get back to our review of the Sea Devils in a couple of weeks' time with Pertwee.
Yeah.
Roaring Jack Rabbit is also saying Russell with Doctor Who is like asking McDonald's to look after your cow.
A lot of farmyard analogies here, yes.
Moo! And bah for the people that are following him, saying this thing was really good. Bah to you lot. Ian is absolutely correct, says Jason Parker. RTD was not talented in 2005 when we look closely. He was opportunistic, riding on the wave of success for Doctor Who, laid down many other people. He is no genius. He's just proved that, hasn't he, Jason?
Yeah.
The industry has to stop calling him brilliant. He's not. BBC Studios, do us a favour. Please wake up. Get rid of him. Hashtag sack RTD, please. We want Doctor Who back. We want to like this stuff. Please cast a fella that can play the Doctor and fill that bloody console room set you've got. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the point. Why you just had the jukebox was a bit of a waste of time, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah. What was that about? It didn't add anything to his character, did it?
No, not at all, no.
Nothing. There was nothing about that. What we
Why
got
was
here?
there a bed in the console room?
Yeah,
I know there was a cot later on, but there was a scene just before that with a bed in the console room.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a
Well, you know,
hospital.
miraculously,
Yeah.
furniture does turn up in the TARDIS now and again. Look at Planet of the Daleks for that MFI set we had for that. You know, so it
Yeah,
turns up now and
true.
again.
But I mean,
Yeah, so-
it just reminded me of Whittaker when she had that bed in there
Yes,
for
yeah.
very obvious, clear reasons. But there
Oh,
was
so-
a
because she's very, very
bed
tired,
with-
wasn't she? Let's be honest. Yeah.
pink
But that was
sheets
even
and
mentioned
everything.
in that speech last night with her, wasn't it? With the scene there.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
do or something. You never tell her you love her. Ugh.
No.
It's great to see you all in the chat. Thank you for joining us for this our review. I say review loosely because there was nothing to review, was it? It was just a pile of everything, including the kitchen sink, thrown onto BBC One at 10 to 7 on Saturday, the 31st of May. And I think, as you guys have said before, he was throwing things at the wall to see what stuck, and nothing stuck.
Nothing stuck. No.
Nothing stuck. And it was just an absolute horrendous. Thor Behind, thank you for your super chat. Why did RTD say they were going after a new younger audience only to bring back old characters that none of them would have heard of? You guys have been saying this for ages, haven't you?
Yeah. It's madness. It really is. No wonder people are watching. They don't understand what's going on.
Well, nobody would have understood last night. I mean, it
Yeah.
went up, as we said earlier, it went up slightly to 2.17 million, slightly last night. But we're going to be looking at this with Bedouia. Bedouia was in the chat. Hi, Bedouia. Hope your calculator's out because we're going to be looking at how many people disappeared. It was quite a lot. Cool Boys Backyard. Quite like that. Cool Boys Backyard. Disney Plus want to create Doctor Who spin-off series like how they're milking Star Wars franchise. Watch this space. There will be a Rose Tyler and David Tennant series. That's going to flop. The whole thing about this, and I'm going to say this again to any of you that are new here because we've been saying this for a while. We are in Britain and we see the reaction in Britain and it's bad, and it has been for quite some time. I'd say from the middle of the Whittaker era onwards, Doctor Who has become a joke in our country now. It's not liked. It's absolutely not liked, and people are just they don't care. In fact, today I went down to my local Tesco coffee shop to see the girls and say hello and the gossip, and also, of course, to scour through the millions of Sunday newspapers to see if there was anything in them. This is what I found. From the Sunday Express, is Billy Piper really the new Doctor Who by Tony Whitfield? That's it. There was a teeny weeny bit in the Sun, and yes, I did use rubber gloves, which was not even worth me copying, but that was from the Daily Express. That was it. That was it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's this man's fault. Look at him.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Ugh.
He pulled off the same trick anyway 2 years ago. That's why there's no media attention on it, because there was media attention when David Tennant came back at the 40th Doctor.
I was supposed, yeah.
And you're pulling off the same stunt casting, and now everyone can see it for what it is. It's stunt casting. So why bother? It's also for like the audience that were into the 2 seasons. They last season, there were lots of reasons. Why did it snow? Why did we put all that energy into Ruby, who Ruby's mum is, when it just turned out to be an ordinary person? And then they basically had the same kind of thing. Why have I invested my time in these characters, etc.? It's happened twice. So for all of those people, it's also like, why have I bothered? So he basically, everyone can see through him now on all sides of the corner.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say because I agree with that one. It's just we're at this point now where we're just exhausted with this. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't dramatic. It was just lazy. You could tell that like was just a case of what do I do? I've got myself into this. What do I do? There was no build up to any of it. Characters thrown in willy nilly. No explanations. Characters disappeared very quickly. I'm talking about the Rani and Omega here. It's just the typical thing. It just builds it up, and you fall down flat. Doug Smith saying to us, I'm happy that the Daleks and the Cybermen didn't appear in this RTD2. It would only ruin them, just like he has done with Omega and Sutek and Susan and anything else he gets his hands on now. I don't know why he's bothering, quite frankly. I really don't understand.
It was just simply boring. That was part of the problem. And Doctor shouldn't be boring, should it?
No, but you should want to watch it as well, shouldn't you? It goes on to all this stuff about a character we don't care about. Poppy, we're going to have to, what we're going to be talking about this for ages. Yeah. Who the hell was she? Where did she come from? You're telling me she was a wish. Then why wasn't the wish changed? I still don't, because it wasn't explained. The ability to tell the story wasn't there at all. And you're supposed to remember, if you're a not we, this kid from episode 1 of a failed series last year, One of the worst
They,
in Doctor Who's history.
they really dragged out as well, because when it started off, you thought, oh, Poppy's still with us, and then she disappears again. Then she comes back. They drew that out such a long time. It was just really boring, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there was
Thank you, Ship
Verity
Toast, for that.
Lambert.
Thank you very much. Ship Toast is with us, guys. RTD loves his writing so much. You just know he's a massive. Yeah, thank you very much.
You know,
At least someone enjoyed the finale. Then that's good to know. Yeah.
It was him. Go on, Ian.
Yeah.
Verity Lambert, you go back to 1963, and she was able to hold the viewer's attention for 48 out of 52 weeks a year. And she did it more than once, you know, and subsequent producers over the years, you know, the series got shorter, but still 26 weeks or thereabouts for the majority of the 70s. They could do that. This person with the most money in a concentrated period that that probably the BBC has ever known wasn't able to do that and keep your attention for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just appalling. I mean, that's borderline criminal. I mean, the fact that you spaff that much money on just have a drink, bollocks.
Yeah. Well, it says, isn't it? And we've reported on headlines, haven't we, Ian, that it's come out that apparently the majority of the Disney money went to clearing up the picture for Disney Plus broadcast or something. Really? A TARDIS set that big?
Well,
Wages?
I think on the budget side, I was having to think about this earlier. I was like, wait, the last 3 basically finales have all been set in unit headquarters. You think the Giggle?
Oh, that's true. Well, it's there, isn't it? They've used it.
And I think it's because literally they've invested so much money, I think, on that set that they have to use it. And the fact that each finale has been set in the same location with, again, characters none of us care about, but I think that just goes to show that the budget, in some ways, spending so much money on one set, it has its consequences, its drawbacks. So please, I think let's go back to a day where Doctor Who is on a tight budget and have to work wonders, because that's when it's at its best. It's been proven. More money doesn't work. And if you have more money, then you really need to have the right person at the helm to lead it. But because otherwise you can get too easy to get carried away with bad impulses and bad creative decisions.
But the bad creative decisions don't have anything to do with the budget. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and yet the BBC went to RTD, didn't they, Paul, deliberately to say, we want somebody who can look after this thing. Well, that was a brilliant decision, wasn't it? Well done, because he might have done from your point of view of trying to get everybody into angles. But when it came to the scripting, the look at the show, the casting, the stories, flat, didn't work. And it alienated the existing fan base that was left, because it went down from the Whittaker era. We were told to go away again. And the British public don't give a toss. They are long gone, and it's going to be hard work for anybody taking over to bring them back. They have got to understand this. We've got Graham Lamphere. This episode left me with a headache trying to process what I've even watched. Me too. And a foul potty mouth as well, it left me with. I've actually got the headache coming back now, Graham, because we're trying to decipher it all. David B saying to us, guys, compare this as potentially the final episode of Doctor Who to the last installment of Blake 7. It's light years apart, because back in the day, what they were doing with Blake 7 and Doctor Who is they were writing stories.
Yeah.
Even compare this to Survival. Survival is a wonderful story compared to this, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I have to say, Survival popped into my head, Paul, at the very end when he's regenerating outside the TARDIS door so they don't have to blow up the set again.
Yeah. That's the point. That never was explained either. The TARDIS door's been blown open. What happened to that?
I was going to ask you about that. It's on the list. What happened to that? Why was it blown in? Why did he get to where he was? Still lots more to come on the show, lots more to discuss. And I'm looking at this. What was I talking about?
About Survival, a comparison with Survival.
Oh, yeah. And I thought that's the part. I was expecting it to go to black.
Yeah.
That would have been more tasteful, and I wouldn't have had a chip on my shoulder the size of the Isle of Man today if
But
he'd
he'd
done
wander
that.
off. It'd be Belinda, Poppy, and the Doctor walking off into the sunset. That's not quite the same, is it? Let's be honest.
If they'd done the thing like they were going to do originally with Whittaker, but no, he has this thing about the story continues. Has he ever thought about what happens if it doesn't? And it's again, it's just this gimmick. It's just a gimmick, isn't it? I will put Billy Piper in there because A, it's going to upset a lot of people, and it's going to get people talking, and it'll leave them on a cliffhanger for possibly 15 years if it doesn't come back. You know, you just don't know. What a vile man, honestly. Why bring back Rogue in the last episode, said Graham? Why bring Susan back? How can Ruby remember all this stuff? It's giving me a headache. I started to go into the Soap narrative there. Do you remember Soap? Why bring back Rogue in the last episode? Why bring Susan back? All this and more won't be answered by RTD next time round. Honestly, why
I
do that?
love Soap. It was a great series. Fantastic.
It was a great series. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. The reason he brought back Rogue was to prove a point. Ship Toast, the positive comments I've seen are just making up their own headcanon to fix RTD's writing. It wouldn't surprise me. What about you guys?
I'd agree
Well,
with that.
it's really sad you have to do that. I mean, that's why I used to watch Unleashed. So he might explain what was going on. But I've got Emilio, so it's fine. I'll just text you, mate. I'll be fine. I'll find out what's going on.
Really, I don't understand. 99% of it, I don't understand. Just about 1%.
The headcanon that's been making me spew what I'm saying at Live at 6 is that the only reason why she or he became Billy Piper was because Rose was the last person who held his heart and had the heart of the TARDIS.
That's what we've produced.
Can I have a bucket, please? Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we've
It might
produced.
not be Rose. It might be that super weapon from Gallifrey again.
The moment, you mean?
The what?
The moment. Yeah.
Well, it could be. Or it could just be Rose from the parallel world. Or it could be something new. It's not the Doctor. Panic on Tyler's ukulele. Hiya. They accidentally leaked it earlier in the year as well, along with loads of posts about it right after. They knew people wouldn't watch it if they didn't have that spoil. I'm inclined to agree with you. I think the stuff that was heard from the lovely Starhoovians contact, I think it was them.
Leaked deliberately, do you think?
Leaked deliberately.
Yeah.
They've done it before, we know that.
Yeah.
And I think they did it this time, so we've got to get some interest. Andrew Wright is saying RTD doesn't give us stuff what we think. He has had too good a time screwing up Doctor Who and trousering cash from both Disney and the BBC license fee payers. Allegedly. But I'm going to agree with it.
Do you know what? I watched a video earlier, which I thought was really interesting. Christopher Eccleston actually, in a Comic-Con, I think it must have been like 2 years ago or something, basically was asked who he would like to be the Doctor. And I think he was there with Billy Piper. I think it was the similar time he said, sack RTD, sack Jane Tranter, etc. And he said, I would like Billy, obviously he could say that. Oh, Billy Piper to be the Doctor. But he said, that'd be really interesting if the Doctor turned up with a companion's old face. I bet you, because it was either the same Comic-Con that he did where he basically said sack RTD. I wouldn't put it past him that RTD saw that. And then it's actually Christopher Eccleston giving him the idea.
Yeah, so it's his fault. It's his fault then, yeah. It's like echoes of Tom Baker saying the next Doctor might be a woman, isn't it? Exactly the same thing.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at all because we can see very clearly RTD is getting his ideas from other places because he's gone. When he left originally, didn't he say something along the lines of I've done, I'm spent, something like that? But it shows in the last in this nonsense. God knows what's going to happen with this other crap that's coming. The Copmeister, thank you so very much for your super chat. I admire you guys talking for hours about this crap. It's not easy, but someone's got to do it. That's what we're about. We're still fans, whatever, just not of this version. We love Doctor Who, but we're not afraid to turn around and criticize it when it needs it. And by God, right now, it needs it. Hello and welcome to the fall of the 11th. The decision just stinks of desperation. Regeneration used to represent change, moving forward and embracing new. However, ever since the creator talked about revisiting faces, it's all about the past. And I'm going to add to that, if I may, the fall of 11th. Since the day of the Doctor, when we've got John Hurt, God love him, shoehorned in as an unseen incarnation, because then that led to the other woman whose name I can never remember.
Joe Martin.
Thank you. And Real Steve, thank you for your super chat, for having to endure this crap for the last 2 seasons. My brother and I salute you. Well, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate that, don't we, guys? We do have the BBC press release. So last night, after the end of the show, the end of the series, the BBC put out a press release. Have you seen this? Because it goes something like this. No, it doesn't. Hang on. I'm coming back to that one in a minute. That's the other story. Whereas it's this one here.
You're just teasing us, though, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Doctor Who's Ncuti Gatwa says final farewell to the TARDIS as the 15th Doctor regenerates. And as viewers say goodbye to the Doctor, they got a hello from a much-loved face. Since being announced as the Doctor in May 2022, Gatwa was launched into the Whoniverse and immediately taken into the hearts of Doctor Who fans across the globe.
Bollocks. Take another drink.
You can tell this is a press release. With his first appearance being part of the show's 60th anniversary celebrations in November 2023, Gatwa's arrival into the show was a never seen before bi-generation, which saw him split from the 14th Doctor played by Tennant. His portrayal of the Doctor won Gatwa a Best Actor Award at the BAFTA Cymru Awards in 2024, as well as nominations for a BAFTA Scotland Audience Award for Favourite Scot on Screen and Best Actor in a Drama Series at the Critics' Choice Television Awards in the US in 2025. Speaking of his decision to leave, Ncuti Gatwa said, "You know, when you get cast, at some point you are going to have to hand back that sonic screwdriver and it is all going to come to an end, but nothing quite prepares you for it. This journey has been one that I will never forget and a role that will be part of me forever. There are no words to describe what it feels like to be cast as the Doctor, nor are there words to explain what it feels like to be accepted into this iconic role that has existed for over 60 years and is truly loved by so many across the globe. The fans are truly the final character and beating heart of this show, and I can't thank the Whoniverse and the Whovians enough for welcoming me in and making this such a touching experience. I've loved every minute of it, but now is the time to hand over the keys to that beloved blue box and let someone else take control and enjoy it every bit as much as I have. I'll truly miss it and forever be grateful to it and everyone that has played a part in my journey as the Doctor." Speaking of Ncuti's departure, RTD said, "What a Doctor! Thank you, Ncuti. As his final words say, this has been an absolute joy, and the team in Cardiff and everyone who has worked on the show for the past few years are so lucky to have been part of Ncuti's great adventure as he shoots off to stratospheric new heights." Lindsay Salt, director of drama, added, "When Gatwa first stepped foot on the TARDIS, we instantly knew he was going to be an iconic Doctor, and it wasn't long before his dazzling performances captured the hearts of so many around the globe. The role of the Doctor is
I'm still waiting for that to happen. To be
Yeah.
The role of the Doctor is like no other, and Ncuti's dedication, charisma, and magnetism has taken the Doctor into uncharted territory, which we have never experienced before." Please, that's such an insult. As Ncuti himself said at the start of this journey, unlike the Doctor, he may only have one heart, but he is giving it all to this role. I think we can all agree that he did that and more. Thanks, Ncuti, for being such a special part of the universe. As everyone said farewell to this iconic Doctor, they also got sight of a very familiar face as the Doctor regenerated, and it was none other than Billie Piper. Billie's first appeared in the Whoniverse when Doctor Who returned to screens in 2005 as Rose Tyler, the much-loved companion to the Doctor, played by Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. But just how and why she is back remains to be seen. I'll repeat that, but just how and why she is back remains to be seen. Speaking of the surprise twist, RTD adds, Billie once changed the whole of television back in 2005, and now she's done it again. It's an honour and a hoot to welcome her back to the TARDIS, but quite how and why and who is a story yet to be told. After 62 years, the Doctor's adventures are only just beginning. Speaking of her return, Billie says, and this is where PTA would like to know, "It's no secret how much I love this show, and I have always said I would love to return to the Whoniverse as I have some of my best memories there. So to be given the opportunity to step back on that TARDIS one more time, was just something I couldn't refuse. But who, how, why, and when, you'll just have to wait and see."
That director of television praising Ncuti was very much like it was like a hostage video, really, wasn't it? Like they're being read it, and there's a submachine gun just off screen pointing at the head, saying, "Read this, or I'm going to kill you." You know.
Can I say other methods of coercion are available? Just saying that now.
Not as effective though, Paul.
Ncuti Gatwa did himself also take to his Instagram, as that generation do. "Thank you for it all, 15.
Yes, thanks, Ncuti. Bye.
Bye.
Shut the door behind you.
Do you know what I got when I read that press release when it came out last night? I actually looked at it and I got the feeling that he had waited as long as he could, and they couldn't say, "Yes, you're coming back," at a certain time. Here's your new contract. And he said, I can't wait. I've got this play lined up, and I've got that film lined up, and I've got this offer coming. I'm going. I think that could possibly be okay, because that's what happened. That's the vibe I got, guys, from the press release. You know, he'd waited as long as he can, and then he went, listen, and that could have triggered the reshoots.
It could have triggered that, but also I get the feeling that from what they said on Unleashed, and I don't know if you got that feeling as well, Emilio, that he'd only ever been booked for 2 years, and that was all it was.
It was so many episodes, Paul. Yeah,
but 2 seasons, whatever it had to be. Yeah, but that was it. I bet in the same way that we kind of found out eventually. I think the process for Eccleston was much the same, that he was going to leave after series 1. That was kind of really how it was going to be. But I think that's a similar kind of process that Shooty had as well. I don't know if you got that on Unleashed, Amelia, when you were watching. There's an impression
he's contracted for the two seasons. But I think the expectation, obviously, that there would be more from everybody in the production team and the cast. So that explains why they had all of these other shoots where, you know, the idea at the end of the season, you know, they would be in a club, whatever, and then Shooty would continue. Obviously, what's happened, I think what you were saying, JT, is that basically once that first season came out and they got a tape that Disney might not be continuing, and they don't know what's happening with the series. At that point, he's going to be, you know, looking at his diary. He can't wait around forever. So he decided, you know, to make the jump, because it is up in the air, and he's obviously doing some theatre stuff, isn't he? I think at the moment, or towards the end of the year. So he decided to go, and I think that's what's happened basically. And then they've had to do all the reshoots to fit in the regeneration. That's why it felt incredibly tacked on when you watched it.
Yeah, and it was terrible as well. You can actually tell, or I could tell, where it all started to go pear-shaped for this, and it was from those scenes with Belinda and that bloody Poppy.
The ending of it's worse than the Jodie ending when they tacked on Tennant at the end of that. That was more convincing in that one than this one was.
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned it now, so it's time, everybody, now to start to talk about it and to bring her in. And as I said, if you're new to the channel, you won't know. I didn't watch the Chibnall Jodie Whittaker era, so I have no point of reference at all when it goes to her stories. I was not interested. I didn't want a female version of our favourite Time Lord in 1981, and I didn't in 2017. I still don't today. Don't care. You can call me anything you like. Don't want it. It doesn't work. I think I've been proved. And then this happened last night, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a little bit interesting. But this is one of these moments, and it's happened several times during this version of alleged Doctor Who. I was taken out of, I'm going to say the story because I'm being kind. I was taken out of the rubbish I was watching because I was thinking, I don't know who that is. Does that make sense?
It does, but it did take to that point to take out the episode, because I imagine from the titles you were out of the episode. To be honest.
That's more or less true. That's more or less true. When the door opens, when he's plummeting to his death on at the start, and that
the unconvincing special effects of that part.
Here's the Time Hotel. But this is the first time I've seen Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. And can I be very honest with you all? I thought she had more presence than he did.
So did I. Yeah.
Even
in that awful wig she was wearing as well. But yeah.
It's a very low bar, though, isn't it? Really. I mean, it's not.
It's the lowest bar, Ian.
Yeah.
For JT's not seen her, I think that's actually quite a good response, because Shooty has never shown the Doctor at all. Maybe one moment for me in the Interstellar Song Contest. Apart from that, he's never been the Doctor at all. And Jodie showed more in that little scene, probably than she actually showed in her own era, to be honest. You know?
Did she? See, I've got no point of reference. And then she appears on this gantry, and I just thought, oh, Christ, he had to do this, didn't he? He had to do it. And then she starts walking around, and a part of me saw something familiar.
Yeah.
And I can't put my finger. I just thought, hang on a minute. And then she's got that scene with him, and I thought, oh, she knows she's got the upper hand for some reason, whatever it is, and she's going for it here, you know, because she was just all over that set, wasn't she? She was filling it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to like her, because this is the first and last time I will ever see, unless they shoehorn her into whatever comes next, and we've got to review that. I don't know her episodes. I don't know the Doctor. But in that instance, I thought there's something familiar about this performance that he's never actually given me. Isn't that weird to viewers? Jack Dexter, thank you for your super chat. Disney must have thought RTD was the man with the golden touch. Oh dear, he's just a hack. Absolutely. And Thor Behind, thank you for your super chat. I wonder if RTD is off to Disney HQ tomorrow with a renewal contract for Series 3. #deluded. I don't think that's coming.
No.
Love to be a fly in the wall with calls and conferences between Russell, Bad Wolf, and Disney Plus over the past. Love that.
I think Disney have probably defrosted Walt to get him on a conference call with him at some point.
She had a bad wig, Jodie, last night. I know that much, says Richard. Did she?
Yeah.
Was that a wig?
That was a wig. Yeah.
That's a wig. How do you know?
Yeah.
Because she said that on Unleashed. So.
Why did she have a wig? She did that show. She must have done this. Yes, she did that show where she had all her hair cut down, didn't she?
Yeah, and her hair's a different colour as well, I think.
Let's have a look at that.
It's a better wig than the one that Matt Smith wore in Time of the Doctor, though, I have to say.
And a better wig what Billy was wearing at the end. That was a wig.
Oh, that was awful, wasn't it? Let me know what you think of this, everybody. Bearing in mind, I've never seen Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. Guys, do you understand where I'm coming from? I know you guys
understand, because I felt the same, because I've not seen the Doctor.
I think I know what it is. I think it's not that she plays. When she was in the Chibnall run, I never felt she was the Doctor at all in anything. Right. But I think the key difference is that Jodie played whatever character she thinks she's playing as an alien. Right, she plays it more alien than Ncuti does. Ncuti, you just look at him and it's just like playing playing himself basically. Whereas at least with Jodie, I know when you're watching her, she's not playing it human. She does play the Doctor as an alien, just no characteristics or anything of depth to do with the Doctor. But I think that's really the difference. When you see her, she plays it more alien, and as you said, she worked her way around the set as if it was like home, if that makes sense. Like she knew what she was doing, whereas Ncuti never even made walking around the TARDIS feel like it's at home. So I think it's something as basic as that. I don't think it's to do with the fact that she can play the Doctor very well, but I think she can play an alien, and she felt at home on that set. Whereas
that was obvious, I think.
It was really bizarre when I was watching it, and this is really odd. I was quite relieved when she turned up, which I wasn't expecting to feel relieved, because I actually did think she felt more like the Doctor than Ncuti ever did. And I was actually enjoying her a little bit, because I thought, oh, there's the Doctor just for a moment, And I never thought that in Chibnall's era at all, because she was never really the Doctor. But I think it is because, like we feel about watching this era of Who, and then you watch Classic Who's a million times better, and I think it's just that. I think, to be honest, But,
I don't understand why he went and shoehorned her in, though. Apart from the fact, I think again, it was another middle finger to the fans, including ourselves, to say, "Ha ha ha! Look what I can do." I think because he must have been mad at this point, knowing that his whole ambition has fallen down and gone on to some sort of hiatus, even if it's a year. It's obvious that's what's happening. Yeah. He's lost his leading man. The figures are in the toilet. The fans are getting at him. People like us are getting at him. It's not getting good reviews. The press have started getting to him. The alternative media to the BBC, who the BBC are trying to shut down every single day, are getting at him. It's not a good time. People must have surely have been saying to him, "What are you doing?" in one way or another. So to shoehorn her in, again, Star Whovian had told us on the show, she's coming into this.
It was only because she had that line, wasn't it? I think she said along the lines of, "You were the best male Doctor. I'm just here to tell you that a woman Doctor works, but you were the best male Doctor because your character happened to be a gay Doctor and a sexualized Doctor. You were the best." That was basically what
dialogue. I thought the dialogue for it was again stupid. The line I didn't appreciate was the throwback to the Three Doctors. Ironically, "Oh, you've redecorated. I don't like it."
They've done that line to death now, haven't they?
Knock that off. Yeah, you can't keep doing that anymore. it was magical at the time. It worked in 73. It actually also worked in
and the Five Doctors, as well.
Yeah. Leave it. Just let it go. George is saying, genuinely, Jodie outperformed Gatwa in that scene. Sliver Wolf is saying to us, I only watched the first episode of the Whittaker era, JT, so I don't have much more of a reference either. Mr. Puzzled is saying, I still have Twice Upon a Time DVD and it's plastic. I still haven't watched it. I've never watched it either, mate, because I know what happens at the end. I didn't watch any of the Jodie episodes. Disturbance Film TV. Jodie played the Doctor more in that scene than at any other time during her tenure. How many years did she do? Was it 3 or 4?
It was 3 seasons, but it wasn't that many episodes, to be honest.
It felt like about 25 years, to be fair, but it was only 3 seasons. I was watching that, and I was at this point, I was thinking, can this get any more shit? And then she walked in, and it could, I think
she raised it up, to be honest. That's like she polished the turtle up when she came in.
She's got no redeeming features whatsoever for me, and neither has he. So you're just taking one turd and another turd, and you've still just got a pile of shit, haven't you?
The two most spectacular miscasts in Doctor Who history on the set, and one outdid the other one by miles. Terrified Monk, the 2 greatest doctors in one room, were blessed. Cool Boy's Backyard saying to us, it felt like Jodie's scene was decided and written on the day, because it probably was. Apparently the poor woman was locked in a hotel room and told not to live or breathe. I mean, it was that bad. It was that ridiculous. But I don't understand. What was he thinking? I don't understand the whole thing. Why was she there? Where did she come from? And all that rubbish about Yaz. Again, why? Why? No,
there was one secrecy again. On Leash, they had like code names in the scripts, and her name was Petrol apparently in the script, and that was a code for her being the Doctor or some nonsense like that.
In it for a couple of minutes, and they had to sexualize it.
Yes, exactly, and disgraceful.
They can't help it.
That's what I mean. It was obviously, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys in the chat, I think he was trying to justify the fact that he'd made Gatwa's Doctor queer, #homophobic slur, and slightly same-sex attracted with that nonsense with Rogue. And I'm going to say that as a gay man. Didn't like it, didn't appreciate it. The Doctor does not have a sexuality, so it's like a transition between Whittaker to Gatwa, because he said something along the lines of "That's why you've got me" or something, or "That's why you become me" or something stupid. Because he's the more human one, he's the more emotional one. He can say to people, "I love you." One of you mentioned earlier in the show, "Chat, chat, chat, hug, hug, hug." This is the Peter Cushing version of Doctor Who. Too human for liking.
Oh, don't insult Peter Cushing. That's really mean.
No, that's true. That's true. Jodie's era killed Doctor Who for me. So seeing Shooty and Jodie together on screen in that convoluted nonsense of a scene was the embodiment of what killed Doctor Who. It was very poignant, but not as intended, said the Legion of James. Just Jordan said she was more the Doctor in that scene than Shooty was for his entire run. Craig Dunlop saying to us, I was sick in my mouth at the 2 greatest doctors ever meeting up. Stephen Braddock to say, to have Jodie ate up Whittaker and Gatwa together actually proved how bad she was. However, she acted him. Yeah, well, I got that feeling. I said that at the time to people that were around me. I said, oh my God, she's much better than he is. And Paul Thomas Ashworth, PTA, saying to us, in fairness, Jodie was okay. I liked her much more than Shooty.
It just shows you how crap he was. That's it. Simple as that.
I think it goes to show how low the bar has got, that we're saying that. And I was even thinking, gosh, I mean, even in Chibnall Run, at least I could understand what was going on. At least there was, things made sense. Gosh, if I'm thinking the Chibnall's era is better than the crap, and I thought Doctor Who couldn't get any lower, but here you go, it got much worse. And I think it's the same thing what you were saying, Paul. When you've been served a pile of crap, you then start looking at what you had before. You go, actually, maybe that was a little bit better.
Yeah.
Jane Smith saying to us, that's what Joe Martin did to Jodie when she was first revealed, really? Oh, yes, some of you have said that
she upstaged her as well, yeah.
Great to see you all in the chat. Thank you for being with us as we go over this. Marie UK, thank you for your super chat. Hope you're all right, lovely. A potted plant would have more presence than Oh, you've just reminded me of the adventure game. Marie UK might not know the adventure game, but there used to be a potted plant there as the uncle. You can look it up. Look it up, you young things, you. And Benjamin Elliott, I heard that Jodie is a friend of Tennant's. Yes, she is, from back when David still cared. So she might have taken a few lessons. Ooh. And
No,
Matthew
she did
Burrows.
copy. She did copy a mixture of Matt Smith and David Tennant in her original performance. To be fair, but, yeah.
Matthew Burrows saying, to be honest, the Jodie era is gold compared to this crap. And the truth is up there saying to us, Jodie Whittaker possibly felt far more comfortable having a TARDIS console room than she didn't need a mag light and a guide dog to show around. Yeah, is that because her console room was dark, wasn't it?
It was dark
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
absolute
and
crap.
awful.
Yeah.
yeah.
You had a chat, Kirsty, you wanted me to bring up, but I can't find it. So do you want to agree with it? Or do you want to say something about it?
Jem Godric, this is an analysis of this. We are just reviewing this episode. This is a free speech channel, and things can get a little bit political. So welcome along, strap yourself in. This is an analysis of this last episode. You don't need to bring that much politics into it, okay? Thank you.
Is that to us?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try and find it because I don't know what it means. Doctor Who fan 001, she was a better doctor than Shooty. The scripts are bad, but you should watch it. No thanks. No, I can't. Doctor Who fan, no disrespect, but as I said, I didn't want a female doctor in 1981, and I didn't want one in 2017, and I won't recognize them now. They can call me anything you like. I don't care. But in my Doctor Who, the proper Doctor Who, he was established as a male of his species. And if this is a continuation of that Doctor Who, they've got it wrong. They should have not bothered, not bent the knee, not did an unwanted gender change, or rebooted it with an entirely new version of the Doctor, which wouldn't have worked for them because people wouldn't have watched it.
I think that'd be a wonderful series of streams, shows, JT, if you watched Jodie Whittaker. I think that'd be amazing. Yeah, I think that'd be wonderful
I'm a bit
content.
busy, Paul. You know,
Yeah.
I've got my hair to wash.
I know you've got your life to worry about. I know it's fine.
I know.
Yeah.
David Shaw. Hello, David. I've seen you in the chat. And nice to see you. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, panel. Doctor Who over next Saturday, watching DVD Doctor Who first season with Chris Eccleston. First episode was Rose, and by the Piper appears first time each Saturday. Watch an episode. We reviewed Rose on our channel back in March. I am not really at the moment wanting to go back to anything that RTD Home Office has done. I'm a little bit off with Doctor Who from the reboot version from 2005. I have to be honest, Dave, because I'm a bit pissed off. I'm a bit annoyed. But we are going to be looking at Pertwee, the Doctor, in Sea Devil, and we're also going to be looking at Battlefield with McCoy, who's a much better Doctor than Gabble was.
I've not watched it yet. I'm keeping it fresh for when we do it.
Yeah, and that's going to be in as a tribute for Jean Marsh.
Oh, come on now, Kirsty. You have to watch it more than once. You can't just watch it once. You have to watch at least 14 times before you get on the...
Oh, I've got that here.
Like Paul with the Gatwa stuff.
Exactly, yeah. I could quote the lines for Gatwa stuff. Yeah. Crap. Yeah.
Our ratings analysis there. Make sure you tune in this week for his latest report. Was there any point in us showing up, or was it just to smooth Shooty's ego? There was no point at all for, as far as I could tell, for Whittaker's Doctor to turn up. And there's what Kirsty was saying to us. Jem Goodrick. Hi, guys. Is this an anti-woke political channel or an episode analysis channel? Getting hard to tell nowadays. Yeah, it's both. The problem we've got, Jem, is that they've insisted on shoehorning in politics into our Doctor Who in a way that has never been seen before. Because of that, we will react.
Yeah, can I just say, though, before someone kicks off, well, Doctor Who was all political. It may have been political at times, but it did it in an entertaining way, and it wasn't right in your face, which the way this is. If we'd done more subtly, that'd been okay, maybe, potentially.
I mean, she's not causing trouble there. You're not causing trouble there, Lovey, are you? You're very welcome to it. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for joining us. Stay with us. But we are Doctor Who fans. Sorry?
Strap yourself in, Jem, because it's going to be
it's up and down. When it comes to this stuff, because they've shoehorned it in, we will do that. Our headlines is our political type show as well. When it comes to the original series, you'll find that it's critical, but more with love. Because we love that. And as I said on the show, Jem, I've said several times now, I will never ever slag off the original 26-year run like I have done before, ever again. It's not going to happen. I will be grateful for Time Flight. Good evening, all, says Magic Stew. As a long-time Whovian, I'm extremely torn on this finale. There were some fun moments, but other times very camp. By the way, Billy was not credited as the Doctor at the end.
Yeah, people are making such a big thing about that. It doesn't say introducing Billy Piper as the 400th Doctor, wherever she is now. So we don't. So maybe she's not. Maybe she's not. You know, never know.
Well, maybe they wanted to see how everybody react to it. Basically, they didn't want to put their eggs in the basket and put she to Doctor, and then basically it goes down like a crap storm, and they never end up doing anything with it. Right? That really looked like egg on your face. Again, I agree with JT previously. It would have just been better to have just cut to black. But then maybe from RTD perspective, it like. That he thinks that would his ego got the better of him there. He thinks that if he cut to black, that just showed that this whole thing being a failure. And
I was going to say, has he not seen the War Games? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. So.
Good point. PTA, thank you for your super chat. Who would everyone on the panel cast as the next showrunner? What about a new Doctor if it happens? Crikey, I've said before on the show, PTA, I can't think of anybody in the industry right now I would trust with Doctor Who. Not one of them.
I know who I would trust. And I would trust Paul to write it, Ian to run over and script edit. I don't know who the Doctor would be, but I would trust those two.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, me too.
I think if Gareth always comes to mind for me, simply because he's so distant from this now, and he's also very middle of the road. And he's not part of the extreme left-wing ideological nonsense that's going on. Trevor Baxendale, although I don't know where he sits politically. And then, there was Toby, but he's gone off to do Bergerac.
I would have gone with Toby because what I liked about Toby is his episodes always explored quite interesting themes, whether it's death and he does it in a sci-fi way. He's also got two sons, so he's not. I doubt he could go down a room of bashing boys or bashing men, and he knows what boys want from a kind of a hero, from a role model. So I would go with him. And the good thing is he's not written for Doctor Who since I think Capaldi, right? So he's not been tainted by any of it.
Yeah.
Well, he'll have to appear. Remember, he's actually in Twice Upon a Time, isn't he? As the German soldier. His little cameo on that.
But can you think of anybody else right now, male or female, who would do who could do the show? And we've got to remember as well that it must be a poison chalice now.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
How many actors are turning down the chance to audition for the role of the Doctor because they know it's only going to get 1 million views?
Well, look at if they're going to go around, if they are trying to tout for business for another streaming partner other than Disney, if they're going to Amazon or wherever, then they're going to have real trouble trying to sell this, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Fernando,
they got Billy Piper back because they knew that she would say yes. Number one, but number two, they don't have any confidence they can get somebody of a name to draw back the viewers.
No, I don't think it is. It could be the fact that they might be forced to have Billy in a 60-minute episode on her own and then introduce an actor. But I think it's just some sort of publicity gimmick, a middle finger to the fans. I think it's hollow. I think it's shallow. I think it's like, as I said earlier, I think it's like Catherine Tate turning up at the end of the episode Doomsday.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what this is, because that worked as well, because people were all going, oh my God, did you see Catherine Tate last night?
I'm sure the general public are going, oh my God, what? Billy's in this? What's this going on here? Turn that over to Britain's Got Talent, would you? Okay.
Yeah. So there's that element. But I think it's just because it was all done so quickly. There is no point going out to cast for a new Doctor at the moment because there's no production. So instead of going to black, which is the professional thing to do, and letting the speculation go on who's next, which is far more exciting, he's gone and done this, and he's going to say, I've got a story that will bring back whoever she's playing. Because look at the BBC press release we talked about before. I'd like to give a shout out to Fernando Rodriguez, Odo. Hello, Odo. All the way from Brazil. I love the fact that this puts us in touch with fans all over the world. Hello, it's good to see you. Eccleston was right. Sack RTD. That's exactly what we're going to be saying on this channel all the time now, because he's useless, isn't he? It's great to see you, Fernando. And it's great to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Huge audiences with us this evening. Thank you so much for listening to our rants. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and stay with us as we get through this, all the fallout of this, any news of where it's going to go, when it's going to go, and we've still got the Sea Devil thing to go. And I'm meaning the Russell T Davies thing, where the Sea Devil doesn't look like a Sea Devil. Stay with us this week. We're going to be talking about that in the headlines. DC Games says to us, didn't Sidney Newman want a female doctor if he'd been given the job of showrunner in 1986? He did. Not going to lie about that. He had a lunch with Michael Grade, and he suggested that he would actually swap the doctor, the Colin Baker, and put in a woman. It was dismissed very quickly. Sidney Newman, it doesn't mean anything really. He may have had a hand in creating the show. He may have created the show, but he's not the Gene Roddenberry of Doctor Who.
No. You know what you said though, JT, about I can't remember which one it was that you said, but you weren't sure about their politics. And this is the whole thing, isn't it? They can have whatever politics they want, really. I mean, I know RTD is just driven by them, and it's hateful, or it certainly comes across as hateful if you aren't in his niche. And let's face it, the majority of people aren't. But you go back to the 70s, and we had people like Mac Hulk, who was very, very political, but it never dominated what he did. You could enjoy his stories as stories, and his best mate was Terrence Dicks, who politically was in the opposite direction. But, they were able to share ideas and work together and create absolute bloody magic. And yet now it just has to be purely one theme, political crap. And that's one of the reasons why it's failed so much. Shame.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm more, more fool them. Because by doubling down or tripling down, he knew this was going to fail. Because he was aware of what had happened to the Chibnall era, but he didn't care, did he? And he wasn't going to rewrite or correct or even ignore his pals' work, because they don't do that. Moffat acknowledged the RTD stuff. RTD acknowledged the Chibnall stuff. This whole timeless child thing could have been so easy to get rid of. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. You had one job, Russell. You had one job to bring us all back and just write good science fiction. You didn't bother. Well, we won't forget. We're not going to forget, and you will be held accountable. And we're going to be looking at your crap on Channel 4 next year. Not we're going to watch it, but we'll be looking at the ratings and all sorts to see how well it does. So Yabu, sucks to you. The old production model, said Gavin Graham, 2 seasons and Unleashed, effectively in the can before his first season aired. Yeah, no time to change tack or take feedback that this might not play well to all galleries. Gavin Graham, you're right. We said that a couple of years ago, didn't we, Paul? And Ian, we were saying this is dangerous because you're going to shoot all this and you're not engaging with the fans. You're not going to get their opinion. Not importantly, going to get the not we's opinion of the British public. Too late. He went ahead, and now he's done it again because he's written 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what happens there then, shall we? This was no 5 Doctors, says Steve and Jeannie Frith. Not a chance.
Not a chance. No.
Yeah, not a chance. The 5 Doctors far superior than this bull, wasn't it?
It's not even Love and
That was
Monsters.
definitely Doctor Who there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even Love and Monsters. It's not even, I don't know. What's the one with in series 9 where with the space station zombie with Capaldi that was awful. I can't remember what it's called, but
Sleep No More.
Sleep No More. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not even a Sleep No More.
Sleep No More is a classic compared to the last night, honestly. Yeah.
This is going to be great for when we do our review shows, isn't it? Really, when we're because I don't know about you guys, but I'll be watching this stuff thinking you have just got through 8 episodes of Shooty Gatwa.
Yeah.
And how what's that going to be? I'm comparing it all to that. I'm just thinking, actually, Twin Dilemma, 10 out of 10.
Well, like we said, if people are comparing Jodie to Shooty and thinking Jodie's better, it's really quite scary, isn't it? That what was considered crap could be really good. That's just really worrying,
Well, I mean, again, it was just, I don't know what happened because she came on in that bloody ridiculous outfit.
Yeah.
What the hell was that about? And I just thought, oh, here we go. What's this? And then at the end of it, when she disappeared and ran into a wall that wasn't there, I thought, well, she just outdid him.
Yeah.
I'd have paid to see her actually run into a wall, though. That would have been great. Straight in. Fantastic.
A brick wall.
Matthew's,
Yeah.
Matthew's
Oh,
telling
yeah.
me here JT Bergerac Series 2 is happening. I know, and that's why he's busy. Toby is busy doing that, and I'm very excited, mate. Matthew, aren't you? I'm a big fan of his version of Bergerac. It was great stuff. I'd recommend it if you're new to the channel. Go and find it. Toby
Well,
Whithouse's
maybe
Bergerac.
though, I guess like Chibnall had success with Broadchurch. Maybe Toby, I'll get 2 or 3 seasons of Bergerac, and on that, he'll be a rising star as a TV producer. Then maybe he could get Doctor Who later after on that success. Maybe, who knows? You know.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
We've got here from Paggy. Hi, Paggy. Nice to see you. Hypothetically, if I was on the writing team, the first thing I'd ask for is who is the go-to guy for lore? There needs to be someone who has an encyclopedia knowledge to honour its history. Well, we've been down that route before.
Well, that's
in
clearly
the
me,
80s.
obviously. Yeah. So.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
The thing is, they butchered everything. So you know, kind of it's a difficult. They've made it incredibly difficult to come back from. The only what we said is the only thing is you have to completely basically retcon the whole thing, but or just pretend like none of it happened and just go back to the doctors from Gallifrey and you know, Time Lords, you know, either exist or they're still dead, whatever you want to do with it, and just leave it like that. So just keep it simple. You said, just focus on the stories, on sci-fi stories that, you know, are going to move people, that, you know, have some, you know, got monsters and the Doctor is fighting that, but you know, you're going to bring drama and you know, excitement, and just focus on that. But I do think they've made it incredibly difficult for the show to ever come back from this.
They have. And part of me also thinks that's the reason he did that, because anybody who has to follow, if it's not him, has to somehow, if they want to, they don't have to, explain why Billy Piper suddenly turns up. Personally, I wouldn't. I'd put a middle finger up to them saying, you didn't do that. It doesn't exist. And I'd put a line in to say it was a parallel world or a dream or something. You know, very easy to do, and bring back the science fiction in where to do it. Because let's face it, you can reboot this thing again now because nobody was watching it. Because I reckon that rise of 2.17 was fans coming in to see who the next person was. And I have to say person now as well, even though I want to say the next guy. In fact, sod it, I'm going to say the next guy, because the Doctor shouldn't be a woman. If you thought Disney was bad, I dread to think what it would be like if Amazon got it, says Neville. Yeah, can I just clarify? That is, that's a rumor. Outside, I don't know what's happened there. I don't know what's come back. It's still a BBC show. Disney does not own Doctor Who. It's BBC Studios. They are not ever going to sell this thing to anybody else. They will go into partnership with someone.
Yeah, that's, I think, what he meant. That's what I meant, you know, because then they're looking for a different partner to help fund it if they can. But because it's such a bad state now, even Amazon would touch it, you know, and they'll take anything, you know. So
yeah, I agree. They completely ruined their version of Lord of the Rings anyway.
And God help James Bond. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Richard is saying to us, Jason Fleming would be a great Doctor. He's probably too old for them now, because you know how ageist, and he's also white and heterosexual. And you know what they're like, these people. I would really want Doctor Who just to hide a little bit for a few years until this DEI insanity has died a death.
Yeah, the BBC is part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. And they're tick boxing.
It's like Doctor Who's on a live support machine, and basically the BBC just won't let it go. Basically, it's like, just do what's the right thing and just, you know, pull the plug, basically. But they're just so desperate to hold on. They're not actually thinking about what's right for the show. They should have said to RTD, no, we're just going to put it. We're not going to do the Billy Piper thing. Just, you know, put it back to black. We'll bring it back in 10, 15 years, rather than trying to, you know, they're desperate to, because Doctor Who's such a household brand, to try and milk it for what it's worth, basically. Let it die properly.
Lots of you in the chat who are actually saying who you would like to see as the Doctor. Stephen Jr. are saying Dan Stevens or Freddie Stromer or even Mark Rylance. Dan Stevens, I think his time has probably come and gone. I think he's one of those, you know, that we could have had and didn't. I would still like to see Aneurin Bernard, who's in 73 yards. I think he's got a lovely approach, and I think he would be great. as the Doctor.
Was there a rumor doing the rounds a while ago before shooting was cast that James McAvoy was a possible contender for the Doctor, or was that just because he did stuff at Bad Wolf, he did his Dark Materials and stuff?
I think that's because he was in Bad Wolf a lot doing Dark Materials.
Right,
You know,
right.
Steve Braddock is saying Aidan Turner as the Doctor, he'd be great. Of course, he was fantastic as Poldark, and he was in the Hobbit films, wasn't he? He would be very good. And you know, there were certain occasions when he was doing Poldark, and he was in that outfit with the long hair. I did actually think to myself, Stephen, there's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? It's because of the costume. And can we next time have a Doctor with a costume, please? Can we have him? Can we have him in an Edwardian dress or something like that, please?
Yeah.
Please.
Not Gert. No Gert, please. Please, for the love of God, no Gert.
Well, if he kept him in that leather jacket, long leather jacket, I would have liked that. It was such a good image for him, and they'd ruined that. You know,
this is all stuff we're going to be talking about on the channel as we move forward. Now, everybody, we're going to be looking at what we want, and all this where they've gone wrong. I'll tell you about a bit more about that in 2 seconds. Jess, the Unholy Trinity trash Doctor Who. Who were they, by the way? He mentioned it, and I've forgotten. Who was it? It was the Rani,
Conrad, and wait, no, there are two Rani, but I think I count one.
Yeah, they don't count as one. So it was the Rani, Conrad, and Omega, or whatever his name is.
Was it the baby, the God of Wishes? Wasn't it the baby, the God of Wishes?
All right, maybe.
I think it was. I think they said it was Omega. Actually, it was Omega. But you're right, Ian. What about the God of Wishes?
Yeah, but I don't know if
I swear they both watched it more than once. I'm telling you that now. Doesn't matter what they say, they did. I'm telling you. Okay, especially Ian.
I don't know whether they mean the Unholy Trinity. There might be RTD, Tranter, and Gardner.
Oh, well done, you, because they're just as responsible for letting him get away with this.
Hell
yeah. And they've gone to the dark side of the Force now as well, obviously following him because they think he knows about everything. You know, I wish I had a wet fish. Slap them all. Dr. Mad Studio, nice to see you. Hi, folks. Hello. I stopped watching Doctor Who 10 years ago. Not surprised. So I have no idea what's going on with it these days, aside from the odd thing that's been said in the media. Well, I can bring you up to date. Sweet FA.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible. Don't worry about it. Stay where you stopped. I wish I'd stopped at Capaldi, but no, because of this channel, we decided to review this. We were giving it a chance. We thought there might be a chance this might be a return to Doctor Who. It might be good. It hasn't been. It's been
boy, were we wrong. Yeah.
We were totally wrong.
Save yourself on the therapy bill, please. Yeah.
This is Whose Views. We are going to be part of your therapy. Yeah. Black Glove Studio, it's good to see you. We need to remember RTD's failure by no longer watching his garbage until he's gone. It's a shame. It's a real shame because he could have done it. He could have brought us all back. He could have made something absolutely fantastic, and he decided not to, didn't he? What an idiot that man is. Thank you for joining us on Whose Views. We've got lots coming up for you, and believe it or not, this isn't quite the end for us on this particular subject. Next Sunday here at the channel live at 8, join us for our 2025 series overview. We're going to be looking back at all 8 episodes, and we're going to be looking at the lows and the lows of the series and going through it all again. Plus, on top of that, we've got headlines where we're going to be looking at the aftermath of this throughout the week. We're also going to be looking at Bedweir's ratings analysis. This story isn't going away, and believe you me, it's a story. This is affecting Doctor Who. And we're going to be talking about it with a lot coming up on the channel.
We don't have to watch them all again, do we? Just checking.
No.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Not watching the ones.
Paul's watched them enough; he can remember.
Well, that's the problem.
Stephen O'Neill in the chat is saying apparently rumours say Billy Piper will be doing 3 Doctor Who specials as a temporary Doctor, unnumbered, then a 16th Doctor in 2027 announced. That's the rumours. I would imagine nothing has been announced yet from official sources, Stephen, but that's something we're going to be looking at and talking about here on the channel.
Can I say no offense to Stephen, but boring, you know? So
terrible. Who's going to watch it? She's not even got the power to draw in the Notwees as the Doctor, because the show. This is why it's a poison chalice. Hugh Grant could get this now. and it wouldn't do that brilliantly because it's been pushed into the gutter.
Even Paul Daniels couldn't raise it from the ashes. I'm telling you, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're a normie, aren't you? If you would have seen the news article, well, David Tennant came back, you'd be like, wait, didn't they just bring David Tennant back? Now they're bringing back Billy Piper. Like, you know, if you never watched Doctor Who and you've just seen the news article or a little bit of snippets on it, you're gonna why would you tune in? You think what we all think this show? Well, that Doctor Who's way past its best if it's having to bring back all the old people.
And it's simply repeating itself on what they did with Tennant, like you're saying, and that's all it is. It's just the same thing again and again.
Yeah,
you know?
Another set of specials, and then hand it over to the next person. You already did that. You can only get away with that once.
They're just trivializing regeneration and just using it really randomly, which is really stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been great in the chat tonight. We've still got a lot to do. Dr. Mad Studios here. That's the biggest problem with Doctor Who these days. Nobody knows what to do with this show anymore. That's right, because my opinion, Dr. Mad Studio, is that this version of Doctor Who in its 20th year has more baggage with it than the original 26 years did. That's why they could reboot it in 2004 for 2005 easy, because it just told stories about a Time Lord from Gallifrey in time and space. There was no baggage, just the Doctor. And Russell ran with that. Now you've got 16 million versions of him and her running around. They've changed the lore. The Time Lords have gone. The Daleks, or God knows wherever. They put too much of the soap opera into it. You've got all these things, as we proved last night with Billie Piper's return as whatever she's playing. It's mad. It's absolutely insane. So I totally agree with that, with what you've just said there. It's got too much baggage. Where do you start? I tell you where. Get rid of the luggage.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Because RTD, when he brought it back, RTD, he had the Time Lords as being, destroyed in the Time War because he didn't want the Time Lord baggage. He did not want that baggage, did he? And he's just, like everything else he says, he's just gone back and done the opposite, hasn't he? Really.
So I had forgotten next week we have the 20th anniversary Unleashed episode. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right, so that's the one where they've all come back to say hello, and isn't this fabulous?
Apart from Mr. Eccleston, of course. Yeah.
Apart from and also Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi apparently have not participated.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Whittaker has.
Oh well, yeah.
Of course she has.
Yeah, I believe. And so
she was anything for a shilling, allegedly. So.
What else we got? Kirsty, we had a chat there. I can't find it. Could you read it out for me, please?
Thank you very much, Chris Lawley, with a £2 super chat saying thank you
Chris,
for your all your counselling. I needed that for therapy, basically.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. We're going to be here a lot because, as I say, yes, there might be announcements about what's going on. We've still got this Sea Devil thing that's on the way with Russell Tovey.
Are we going to talk about that this evening? Are we?
No, we're going to talk about that on another show. We're going to talk about that in the headlines and possibly next week. But yeah, there's still lots coming from these people. Legion of James saying to us, to be honest, proper Who fans could even still be won back because we love our show. Just do the Doctor properly and give us good sci-fi writing and forget all that happened, including the format of New Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to bring back the public with you as well, though, and they've been well and truly told to F off.
They're bored with it.
It's been written for years now for a minority, and you've lost the general public. You've completely lost the general public. So just being supported by the fans, it's not like it was in 2005. I don't think that will carry it anymore.
And talking of the not we, a friend of mine's wife said to me, I think I said it to you Ian, as well. A friend of mine's wife said she hadn't watched Doctor Who since 1976, and she watched it on Saturday with her husband, my mate, and she said, "This is not Doctor Who," and she's not watched it since 1976. Even she thinks it's not Doctor Who, and she's a not we. So yeah. So.
As I shared with you, a work colleague of mine. Sorry, Amelia, a work colleague of mine. Hi, Sam. Because I know she's watching tonight. Said she was going to watch it. She said, she's not a regular viewer, but even she thinks it's gone to rats. Was her term.
Was she being polite when she said that, or not?
Very polite.
Yeah, okay.
Very polite.
David Shaw is saying to us, guys, Doctor Who over for a few years. We need a new Doctor. Don't announce him until the series begins, and bring back Davros and the Master. David, yeah, I agree with you. Doctor Who just needs a little rest, even for 3 years, for me, and then it needs to be come back with a really good marketing campaign and a good lead actor, and I mean male, and some fantastic science fiction stories.
Yeah.
And the Daleks, and Davros, and the Master. And
I think they should forget about them for a while and just try and create their own.
I think the
versions.
Daleks in a good story could bring
Yeah,
back the
good one.
Daleks.
Yeah.
If it was
Yeah.
a TV movie, a proper TV movie with proper Dalek action. Yeah, could do. And Coquelin, have you discussed about the wasted opportunity with Susan? Apparently she had scenes which were dropped when Gatwa chose to leave, so that was a waste of time though. We did talk about that, Coquelin, earlier on. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. We did talk about it. We've got this, we've shown it before. I'm going to show it again because it's worth showing. This was the original end of the series, which involved Carol Ann Ford. But you're all right. What a wasted opportunity. What a waste of bringing in Carol for that. Which one was it? The Eurovision Interstellar Song Contest.
Yeah.
Starting that story and then deciding not to carry it off because you were going to do a regeneration, which wasn't even a proper regeneration. Because I mean, is this only the second time the Doctor has voluntarily regenerated everybody? Or is it the first?
I don't know, but honestly, he was like Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars with all that energy, wasn't he? He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked like he trying to do some work at the gym with the way he had trying to put the two fit together to get the regeneration energy.
Can I just say with this as well, how bad that effect was? They just superimposed Piper's face.
Yeah, so bad.
at least she's wearing the same clothes as Shooty, and she looked quite so silly in a dress, I have to say.
Very badly done. So yeah, we've got all that. If you are new to our channel, oh, hello, P. Ferreira. It's good to see you. The damage done to the show is so bad, I don't think they can recover. Fans just keep lowering their expectations while the ratings continue dropping. This is, I agree with you. This is what I'm saying. Last night, for me, was an example of how lazy television is today in this day and age. Absolute bull. It was just written by dot to dot and paint by numbers. Oh, I've left that episode there. Now I've got to dispose of the Rani and Omega very quickly. Bang. Easy done. And then I'm going to spend half the episode on some sort of soap opera, which nobody cares about.
We couldn't lower our expectations any further, honestly. There's no way.
No. And the thing is, our generation, say Kirsty and our generation, they nobody could have bring it on. Our generation will bring it back. Nobody will. I mean, a lot of people. I know a lot of people have checked out after David Tennant left, but yeah, pretty much anybody who would bring back the show with the right level of care and attention, they're not going to do that. So you're requiring on the older heads to do it. I just don't think our generation will do it.
I don't know. It's all up in the air where we're going with it now, isn't it? Really, and at this point in time, I can't see it coming back anytime soon. But a lot of you in the chat saying to us that there's an announcement due next Saturday when this other thing is on, this making of show. I've heard this before. This is all very familiar.
Yeah.
It's going to be an announcement. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. I don't know. Stay with us here on the channel, because when there is an announcement, look out for our show headlines. That's going to be here on the channel when we do that. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you. Please make sure that you have subscribed. This is the point now where you get to tell me in the chat what you would give out of 10 for the marks for the reality war. Start putting it into the chat now. It's time for scores on the TARDIS doors. So before we do that, I'm going to let you know this is the chart for the entire series up to this point. The Robot Revolution scored 12.5 out of 50. Lux, 9.5 out of 40. The Well, 27 out of 50. Lucky Day, 16 out of 60. The Story in the Engine got 1 out of 50. The Interstellar Song Contest got 6.5 out of 50. And Wishworld got 2 out of 50. So far, The Well is the most popular episode of this series of alleged Doctor Who here on Who's Views with the panel. Is the reality war going to knock that off? We're going to start with Paul. What are you going to give the reality war out of 10?
There were a couple of bits in this I actually quite liked, but the whole thing is such a mess. And I did think by the end of it, I was again confused like I was the week before. I just think it's awful. I'm going to give it 0 again. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry about it. That's fine. That's fine. Amelia, we're going to go straight to you. What are you going to give for your scores on the TARDIS doors?
I'm joining Paul with a big fat 0. It deserves no more than that. I agree everything Paul said. If none of it makes sense, logically, it's so incoherent. There's a bunch of characters that you don't care about. There's a baby that becomes so important, and again, nobody cares about. And then, you've got your typical RTD, kind of regeneration. Here's a little shiny little thing. Get excited. R.I.P. Doctor Who.
Kirsty, the lady of the chat herself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, excuse my French, but absolutely fuck this shit. It's a big fat 0. Screw this. Peace out,
And third Doctor Ian, surprises.
This entire Gatwa era, to me, feels a bit like a 2-year session of cystitis, and this last episode was the final painful boiling piss. You know,
he's got such a way with words, don't you think?
He's from Yorkshire, you know. He's from Yorkshire.
I cannot give this anything. It was one last time bollocks. 0.
Take another shot, everybody. From my point of view, of course, it's going to get a 0. I've hated every minute of these two series. I haven't seen the Doctor at all. I came to it with such optimism. I feel like I've been slapped in the face with that optimism. I knew we had problems from the moment the Star Beast aired with all that pronoun BS. And it's just got worse and worse and worse. And last night for me, shocking television. Shouldn't be allowed in my book. We just want Doctor Who. Can somebody please come and bring back Doctor Who to television? We would love that. Thank you. 0 out of 10. Now, this is the moment which is going to be a test for us, guys, because there's over 500 people with us still in the chat at this particular marks, and they're all putting the marks on the scores of the TARDIS doors in the chat. So we're going to be here for at least an hour. So if I don't get round to you, thank you very much. I will look at all the scores privately as well. We'll start with Lex, 0 out of 10. Frankie, 0 out of 10. Stephen Genie Frith, 4 out of 10. Adam Moth, nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views, 1. Heretic, 0. Robert, 0. The Mecronon, 4. John, 0. Andrew Wright, 0. Ada Gedden, nice to see you, -10. Matthew Burrows, 0. Yes, problem being pointed out that at one point we had 635 people in our chat. Yes, that's right. Thank you very much for doing all the work, Kirsty, and to problem being as well. Paul Schlefter, 1. -3 from Cool Boys Backyard. Derek Hart, 1,000 out of -1,000 out of 10. I think that means. John Roberts, 0 squared. Shadow, nice to see you. 1. Digital Pollution, how are you, fella? With Sentinel 7 there, 0 out of 10. Woodhouse 122, hi mate, 0. Oh, it's out of 50. No, it's out of 10, Ada. Out of 10 for each individual. 50 was just how many of us were on the panel. Should have said that. So yeah, Ada gives us a score out of 10. Golden Age Geek, 0. Steve Hinley, 0. R. John, 0. Goodness me, there's lots of you here. Duncan, 1, just for seeing Pertwee. David B, 1, and that's for Jodie. PTA, 1 for Millie and Bonnie. Problem being is actually saying to us there is no hole deep enough to bury my rating. Madam weird. A big fat 0 from Neville. Gavin is saying 4. Craig, 0. Digby, -100. Disturbance, 5 out of 10 for the crew working on the show. God bless them. I hope they've all got new jobs. Killbot Kills, -10. Jay Small is saying 0. Omega, see what you did there. Legion of James, that abomination doesn't qualify for any score. It wasn't Doctor Who. It wasn't even barely decent TV. Ada is saying -5,000. 500, sorry. What else we got? Mark Greaves is saying 0. Utter bollocks. There's another shot for you all. 0 from Raymond Williams. Billy returning was like a kick in the groin. Several in that episode. Julie Wendy minus everything. She says there, if I can bring the chat up. Come on, there it is. Robin Calvert, 4 out of 10. Jane Smee, 4. Chris Lawley, 0. Paul Rose, 0. Stephen Jeannie Frith, 0. Sharon Joy Reads, nice to see you. Welcome to Whose Views. 2. David Gulvin, 1 out of 10. Philip Roy, for making me laugh with so many WTF head shakes, 4 out of 10. Farsight, 0. Pete Harrington, below 0. It wasn't a finale, it was criminal. G35, 1 out of 10. That's for Millie, God love her. 3 out of 10 from Driftport Entertainment. Cokehood, I'll be kind and give it 6 out of 10. That's huge. Thank you. David Madley, 0. The Lady Knightsbridge is with us, 0 out of 10. I'm just glad it's over, and can we all get to being nice to each other on Twitter again? That's never going to happen, darling. I'm sorry. Robert Payne, 0. Crikey. Look at these. David is giving it a 6 as well. Thank you. Sheila B in the Devotions is giving it minus 25. Domas. Hiya, Domas. Absolutely effing 0. I can't remember the last time I was this pissed off watching the show. I can. It was last week. Noel Thrussell saying, what the F? 10. Julie Ann's giving it a 0 as well. 1 for Jodie's wig, which displayed the best performance of the episode. Marjorie. Hello, Marjorie, darling. 1 out of 10, but 10 out of 10 for Pertwee. Frank Staniger saying, I'd rather watch Noel Edmonds' house party with Blobby than Doctor Who now. You're showing your age there, Frankie. Joe Chapman, 0. RTD, your hatred of our beloved show is shameful. Oh, nicely said. Nicely said. Daniel is with us saying 2 out of 10. It would have been 3 if the baby had actually ceased to exist. Oh, you're cruel. We'll get letters. Dalek Lives Matter, 0 out of 10. Any more for any more?
Murray UK definitely minus 0. There were so many effing news to the Doctor Who fans in this.
I see a lovely pattern, says Pete Harrington. Kev Gresham, 1 out of 10. And that's just for Pertwee I'm watching just now. And Ian, I am loving it. What happened with Mavity, says David Madley? We'll never know, I hope. Dylan Kildare. Hello, Dylan. How are you? 0. This episode was pure trash, but 10 out of 10 for Whose Views. We do love it. Thank you for coming and watching us. Appreciate that. Sean Cryer, the reality of it is 0. Kevin McMulkin is saying to Tyler, oh no, you forgot the TARDIS doors blew off and then were magically restored for no reason.
They weren't even mentioned again. They weren't at all. No. You know, it wasn't even
write it down. We've got to talk about that again in the future. We are going to be doing a series overview.
Oh, don't you worry, I have a long list. Don't you worry, I will.
Oh, it's awful. Yes. Geordie boy, thank you so much for your super chat. Forget the pause up to 2005. The real wilderness years have been the past few seasons of the show. We've got a lot to say about that. Stay with us. Thank you, Geordie boy. I am the bad wolf, 0 out of 10. And 10 out of 10 because it's over. Edward's gone mad. He's had a few too many shots tonight. Look at that. And what have we got? Demorpin is saying 10 out of 10. Spectacular. Just kidding. Stand in the corner. Naughty boy. Jay Castley. Hi. Having David Tennant in the 60th made sense, but Rose Taylor now, this is just desperation. Marine Boy 66-0 would have given it half a point for the Omega Monster, but it was a rip-off of the Sutek Monster. I can't. It's awful. That was not Omega. Adam Cartwright, 0, and didn't watch it. It must have affected me from afar. Lynn Hobday. Hiya, Lynn. Half a point out of 10. At least it kept some people in employment, best I can say. Jay Castley is back here with a 5. Kevin Lindsay, a familiar name. 2 out of 10. Hiya, Kevin. How are you? 2 out of 10 from the Carcass. So, Sliver Wolf, 0. Matt, the Silent Wee Music King, negative infinity. Dougie. Hiya, Dougie. 0 out of 10. Can we do a Dallas and bring back Capaldi? I would.
Yeah.
He won't come back now.
Yeah, it's the trouble. Yeah.
Get Capaldi back in a heartbeat.
They'll have to have a Capaldi lookalike for like David Bradley coming in to do it instead. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 for us from Jodie Boy. Thank you, mate. We've got here as well Glenn Piper. I've never seen so many zeros on your review shows. It's happened a lot in these ones, hasn't it? Over this stuff. Wrestling reviewer Daniel. Hello to you, Daniel. 0 and the biggest 0 you could possibly give us. And that's a big 0.
That's still technically 0, isn't it? To be honest.
It's still 0. Ada is saying to us, it's just so lame to bring back Billie Piper in that way. She's an amazing actress, but just no. Just leave her. Yeah, they brought her back as another character with the moment. Just leave the character.
They've overused her
alone.
the same way they've overused Tennant. That's the problem. You know, like
Yeah,
less
it's
is more,
desperate.
please. Yeah.
That's the same in the chat. It's desperate. It really is. Oh, Billy will bring them back. I don't think so. I knew Susan wouldn't show up again, and the 10 minutes of Omega was pointless, says Ginger Guy. I'm not going to argue with you. It absolutely was. What else we got? Duncan the Funky Evans is saying that whose views is 100 out of 10. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, don't we, guys?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Thank you.
What else we got? Any more in the chat? Yes. Dr. Rick Douglas, MD, 10 out of 10 for it being in the rear view mirror and getting smaller. Very true. Very true. We are going to be talking a little bit more about it. And as I say, we are going to be looking at the stories that it's not finishing with this episode. There's more to come. Jake Castley, Eccleston wonders when he said to sack RTD. Paul Rose, JT, if you wanted to discuss everything that was wrong or didn't make sense in the series, you'd need a week-long stream. It did occur to me. But stay with us this week. George Space Jogger, 8 out of 10. Hello, George Space Jogger. How are you? Yeah, again, Sting comes to mind for some reason. I'm not sure why. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Good to see you. Isn't that weird? Stephen O'Neill is saying, come back, Capaldi, all is forgiven. He'll never come back to Doctor Who the way he treated him. Graham Kirk, 0 out of 10, and rest it. Stephen Braddock, you think you've missed my score out? Stephen, put it back into the chat for me now. I'll try and find it. Kirsty, let me know when it's there, please. What else? Legion of James saying Piper is so overrated. And 00 inside, nice to see you. Rani said she avoided Master's actions by flipping her DNA. Then they said the Master's actions is why they're sterile. But if Rani flipped her DNA to avoid it, how is she still sterile because of it? Oh no, I don't know.
Don't know if any logic in it. There's none. There's no logic at all.
Yeah, it so contradicts everything about this whole era. There's contradiction left, right, and centre.
I swear it's all written by AI because Russell Shirley wasn't that bad, was he? Really? God. Yeah.
Daryl Joyce, artist extraordinaire, is with us as well. 0, the embittered RTD showcase. 1,000 for whose views, says Stephen Braddock. Thank you, mate. And 10 out of 10, says Graham Clements. A wonderful, a triumph, both brave and bold. I'm feeling sleepy now. My meds are kicking in. Thank you, Graham.
Get back to the nursing home. You'll be fine.
You tricked me there for a minute because I thought it was going to be a 10 out of 10 and somebody saying it was good. 9 out of 10 for whose views, says Doug Smith. Thank you so much, mate. And look who's with us. It's Moon Pawoo with Meep Meep. Good to see you, Meep Meep. I hope you're all right. Kevin Lindsay is saying he's doing great considering I think we could have all dumped out a better script in our sleep than what RTD threw at us yesterday. Totally. Some of the genius ideas we get in this chat on this
monkeys
show.
And typewriters come to mind. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Doesn't it just? Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Kevin Lindsay had a fantastic namesake in Doctor Who.
He did, yes.
Yeah, that's why I said this familiar name, because not only has Kevin been with us on the show before with the Mark and what have you and listened to us, but yeah, do you know that, Kev? Are you too young for it? Are you going to tell us that we're too old?
Well, watch The Time Warrior, you know what we're talking about. I watched Planet of Spiders. I watched that recently. And I thought Chuji reminds me of Norman Wisdom. People get up in arms that he's playing an ethnicity that he's not, but he reminds me of Norman Wisdom. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. Like, that's worse.
Yeah. We've got Josh H saying to us here as well, if it was a genetic explosion, why is the Doctor still alive? If it's because they were a timeless child, yuck, then why are they now sterile? It's all good stuff. They contradict themselves all over. And Kev is saying on the back of that, that is why it's so important to have a script editor, and not just a script editor, a bloody good one. Bring back Terence. It's not just having ideas, but how to make them work properly.
Well, everything's like a first draft with Russell, isn't it? It's like it's been written once. They've never done another couple of drafts to refine it. And it's just, that's all it is.
And we know why.
Once. Yeah.
We know why.
So he's lazy. He's lazy.
And because no one's going to say no to him.
Yeah.
Robert Holmes would have taken his script, handed them back, and punched him in the face, basically. You know, that was a proper script editor.
I would have held them down to help Robert Holmes do that as well if I could have done. Yeah.
We basically lived in RTD's head canon for the past two seasons. It's like, this is what goes on in his head. This is how his brain works. We've got a massive insight into it.
Yeah.
His brain works. Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, listen, everybody.
Anyway,
Go on, Kirsty.
Can I interrupt? Sorry. Stephen Braddock, a -1,000 out of 10. I had to go and kick the shit out of my wheelie bin because I didn't want to break my TV. I got so mad. It was the worst pile of shit I've ever seen. I was angry, upset, and betrayed. Found his score.
That's very fair, I would say.
That's very, very fair.
Yeah.
Bill Silver is
did
also
you like it then?
No, I don't think he did.
No, he
Yeah.
didn't. No, he
Reading
didn't.
between the lines here, I don't think he did.
Yeah. Bill Silver is saying Doctor Who and the Yes Men, and Gavin Graham has said, actually, can I take a point off mine? Because that was Murray Gold's most distracting score yet, and there are a lot of contending episodes in that category.
Yeah.
I can't remember any of Murray's score this year because it was just the same old nonsense. So I can't remember any of it, to be honest.
And he keep playing his old shit.
But he keeps playing that awful Doctor's theme as well. That is dire.
Playing the 12
Doctor's theme,
Doctors
that's awful.
to when he was dying and the Doctor Fallen. They kept playing the same. He's been doing that a few times. It's like, gosh, you're now going. You're still reusing your old music.
Well, he's learned from the best. Russell's doing the same, so he's just copying him, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Peter Vank from Fansite, very quickly. Apparently, I've missed your score. Can you put your score on the TARDIS door back in there now? Kevin Lindsay is saying, born in 1987, so just barely alive during the classic era. Well aware of my connection. I almost spat out my Iron Brew when I first saw the credits of The Time Warrior.
Lovely, yeah. And it was a great performance you gave as well, I have to say.
It's great when things like that happen, though, isn't it? And he must be local with his Iron Brew. Dark Hall is just popping in there as well. 0 out of 10. Pete Harrington saying last night was a smorgasbord of heart. And Robert Payne, they misused a lot of Murray Gold's score. I noticed that tune Emilio mentioned. I was disgusted with them using it. I didn't notice any of it, to be honest. Not a thing.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
It completely washed over me. I can't remember a thing about the music at all.
Yeah.
There was so much other noise going on at the same time, you know, it's just weird. Yeah.
Have we had Peter Venkman Fansite scoring yet? I don't want to go without giving that score. I can't see it. Kirsty, did you manage to see it? No, I can't see it.
No, Peter Venkman's a man of characters, probably 0, I'd imagine. But
yeah, maybe. The chat has been fantastic tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. We've had over 600 people with us in the chat tonight and watching the show. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to please subscribe to the channel. Come and join us. As I say, this is just the start. This is not going away. There's going to be fallout from this in one way or another. And we're going to be here to cover it. We're also going to be looking at the alleged spin-off, which took some of the Disney money as well. And I noticed today, Disney started to promote it more than they did the Gatwa thing. Isn't that interesting? Problem being, thank you so much. It was minus 9,000 from Peter Venkman Fansite. Thank you very much. And there's Peter Venkman Fansite's income, not minus 9,000. He successfully accomplished his goal of making it as bad as current Trek, cringe, and disrespect all round. And the Lady Knightsbridge, very enjoyable discussion and great comments in the chat. Thanks for the fun and entertainment, guys. With Kev coming up, Kev Gresham saying it's been a brilliant show. My voice is going now, everybody, as you can possibly hear. It has been a brilliant show. Lots more to come, as I say. Make sure that you're with us. Ring that bell so you get notifications of when we go live sooner than you think. That's what it's going to be. And then join us again as we continue the discussion, not just throughout the week here on the show, but next week with our season 2025 overview as we look at the whole thing as well and try and figure out what the hell went on last night. That's what I'm going to say to you. To Paul, to Emilio, to Kirsty, Lady of the Chat, to Third Doctor Ian, to Miles, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We'll be back very, very soon as we continue our look at what is going on with our beloved show. Oh, it's so annoying. Thank you for joining us. It's been great to see you. Please like, please subscribe to the channel and keep coming joining us. I can't thank you enough. We'll see you again soon. Ta-ra, everybody. See you later.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.